All right, Nicole, you there, my dear? Okay, so we're gonna get started. You guys excited? I hope. All right, Nicole, you there, my dear? All right, so today we're going to jump into listing presentations, okay? And kind of winning our appointment. So, like always we want to participate, we want to take notes, right? You're gonna want to keep your computer out, trust me. Also want to be prepared that we can work while we're doing this, okay? Breaks every 15, there'll be two 15-minute breaks for us to run around, kind of do what we need to do, and then commitments. So just remaining consistent in what we're doing, okay? So this one I'm excited about because I have been working on my particular listing presentation as well. And really beefing it up, especially with some of the changes that we've seen and things like that. Okay. So today, we're going to talk about value. So what is our value? All right. And then we're going to talk about marketing. And then we're going to talk about research. Okay. So those will be the three components that we're going to need for our listing presentations. Okay. Shoot. Nicole, I'm going to text you something real quick, and Bryce, and I'm going to. 1 second.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it's good. Wow. No, she lined me out, I put some carpet and paint in and I thought their furniture's right. She goes, you just kind of throw stuff around here, don't you?
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna text you guys over.
It's out of here, so put this here, I want to play an open field.
She moving with you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're gonna buy something later on, but in the meantime, just.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
She's.
Very good. You didn't go on a honeymoon with her, you're going later or
Well,
something?
we went to Catalina Hills down outside of Tucson for about 4 days, 5 days, and stayed in a nice little Airbnb casita.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Okay. Bryce and Kevin and everybody here, I'm texting you guys something too. Nicole, I just text you. I guess we're just leaving them all over the place, man. We've hardened hard over here. Okay. All right, I just text you guys something. We're gonna need it here in a second, okay? So value, right? We're gonna build out who we are and what we can offer. They need to be able to see your value and what sets you apart, right? Just like our lenders feel like a dime a dozen, we are a dime a dozen. I feels like we might be part of, a dying breed, but I swear we will survive, right? And marketing, how we put it all together, the components of your marketing and how you're gonna see how they're gonna see the home, right? So we want to really make sure that we have our marketing plan in place. And then research, right? Nothing makes us feel and look like the expert when we understand our research, okay? So we'll build and add our research to be the one and only expert, all right? That's our agenda today. So as we start, do I have to pay you? Who are you? I feel like that is the topic of conversation with everything, right? We're gonna get paid. Do we have our value? Is it here? Well, you know, what's the deal? So if we move into that, okay, who we are at the core reflects in everything that we do. So do you know your core value? Okay. Kyle, I'm texting you something right now. Yeah. All right. So this photo I sent y'all. I had a printout, but I can't find it. I'm sorry. Okay. There are some core values on this photo. Okay. So y'all should have a pen and paper. You guys should have something to jot down. If you're digital, take notes. That's cool. Are you running to get paper? Good job. I'll try to have paper next time. Okay. So, Kev, I think you've played this with us. I don't know if you've done this one. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Okay. So you guys have a list of like maybe 30, okay, words and an accompanying like short description of them, okay? So words like accomplishment, reaching goals. I'm just going to pick a few randoms. Creativity, looking for new ways to do things. Freedom, independence. Growth, developing in new areas of life. Integrity, making sure your talk matches your walk. Peace, calm, physical, mental, emotional, spiritually. Okay. So the first piece of this is that we're going to pick our top 8. You're going to write them down and you're not going to think about it. Okay. These are just the first 8 things that really resonate with you. When I say first, I don't mean like pick the first. I mean, just, yep, that's a core. That's a good one. That's a good one. So I want 8 of them. And I will give you guys like 2-3 minutes. Better write fast. Do you remember those like multiplication tests in school with the grids that you had to get like really, really fast before everyone else? It's gonna be like that.
Let's write that. So let's write down some words and 8 words.
The 8 that resonate with you the most.
Okay.
Okay, don't think too much into it.
Okay. Yeah. This whoever hits.
Mhm. Okay, I'm gonna go like 6 more seconds. I don't do this well. Like waiting. All right. We'll let you guys finish up while I explain the next. Okay. Now we're gonna have fun. Okay, I want you to pick the 4 that mean the most to you. That mean they have to have some kind of emotional connection. Okay. So I'll give you a couple minutes. A minute. Circling words. And remember, participation is a thing. All right. So now we're going to half that again. Aiden, I will be sending you a photo.
Sweet, thank you.
Mhm.
Oh, I did hear somebody came. He went that way. Not bad.
So just 2.
Oh,
Now-
was that 2?
Yeah, we're gonna drop down to 2. So now pick the 2 that without these, you wouldn't be you. I just texted. All right, shouldn't be too hard, I hope. You guys, lot of guys here, you guys usually aren't the indecisive ones. All right. Now, the one, pick which one that you can't be you without it, like you just can't, nothing else will exist without that one thing. Aiden, you have a picture? I want you to look at it, write down the first 8 words that come to mind, do not overthink it, my dear. Okay. So we're gonna go down. Kevin, what is your word?
The last one, family.
Okay. So your core value is family. I've known you for about 3 years. I would say that every single thing that you do gets locked back to what?
Everything I do, back to my family.
Back to your family. Even still, your babies are gonna be making babies here soon, and you still worry about if they're safe in their homes each night, right? So family is your word.
Find my iPhone,
Find your iPhone.
my app, I see all of them, make sure they're at home at night.
I know, you crack me up. So really, like, you're probably gonna resonate a lot through being able to familially touch with people as well, too, right? Do you find that a lot of your conversations and the relationships that you also have
Pretty much, yeah.
are people that also have
Yeah.
a lot of that core value? Okay. Kyle,
Passion.
passion. Interesting. Yes, I could see that. So you need to feel completely encompassed.
I have to
And
really have passion for something, or I just
yeah, for relationships,
for everything, yeah, relationships.
being a
work.
dad, your photography, your real estate career. Yeah, 100%, right? So anything that you do, right, you now know, like, if I can't be super like engulfed within it, that I am oozing it, because that's passion, right? Like, then it's, I gotta think about this one, right? Okay, Bryce.
My integrity.
So what does that say? Like, I have to be able to,
Well, your Walkman, since you talk.
Yeah.
And you gotta be, the word comes from Greek for whole cloth. You're made of whole cloth.
of whole cloth, exactly, your whole, your integrity, you're in line with.
Yeah.
And you haven't moved from that.
Mhm.
So knowing you, I would imagine so. You are very much like that. I have not watched you, not once, not back up what you said you were going to do, even with accountability over the last few years, just being with you, not even being your team lead, right?
Yeah.
So chances are you're not going to be able to touch something that is not in alignment.
Mhm.
It's gonna mess with you, right? So anything that you choose to do is going to have to be within that line,
Yeah.
correct?
Like a lot of us, we've said no to certain opportunities that just did not. We knew that where it was gonna end, regardless of how good it seemed.
It's just not where you want to be,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Aiden,
So I was kind of torn between family, freedom, and growth, but I feel like growth is probably the one that resonates most
Mhm.
with me, at least right now.
yeah, they will change too. And I would feel like my little bit of time with you, bud, has been absolutely all about growth. You've been willing to,
You have someone named Lisa trying to get in.
oh, let me check,
She's on the phone trying to get in.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, hold on, guys. So you make sure everybody's. Oh, there we go. Yes, sorry. Tell them sorry. And I appreciate their patience. Okay, super appreciate your guys' patience. Like super, super, super. Okay, we're gonna, girls, Laura and is it Laura Christian? Or another
Yeah.
Laura? Can you guys pipe up? So I can give
It's
you
Laura Christensen.
text.
It's Laura Christensen. Can you hear me?
Okay, I will do it anyways. All right, so really, going back to Aiden, what you were saying, right? Like, you're just in
Can
a
you
place
hear
of
me
growth,
now?
okay? So anything that you do is probably going to have to be based in growth, right? If you're not learning from it and you're not uncomfortable, because you've been really good about being uncomfortable, right? probably not where you're gonna exist the best. Okay, we're almost through this activity, guys, and I apologize. So I will send this worksheet and everything out for you for this particular piece of it. Okay. Oh, it is Laura Christian. I thought that was you. Okay, we were trying to get down to our core values. So in mine is also integrity. If I can't back up, I get stressed out if I'm behind, and I said I was going to do something, which is where I've been like the last couple weeks has been like crazy. Like my brain misfires, right? I've also said no to many of opportunities, right? Because it didn't align with what I felt was my core value, right? So the reason why we did this activity is because like Bryce, okay, I'm just going to use you as an example. And Kyle Gomez, I'm going to use you as an example, just for the things that I could be wrong, but we're just going back down to, okay. So Bryce is integrity and Kyle is passion, right? So FSBOs, right? Kyle's passionate about being able to go and help a FSBO and jump into how he can help them make $110,000 more than they would if they sold it themselves. Okay. He is passionate about making sure that they are not this silent lead source out there that's not being represented the right way, right? There are a lot of things that could be passionate about that. Okay. But he wants to do business with Bryce, and Bryce is like, well, hey, I don't like to be door knocked. I don't like to have people at my door. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to, they're saying, no, I don't want an agent. No, I don't want to push that, right? Like that's not going to work for them. The reason why I'm saying this is because maybe sometimes a lead source isn't your lead source. Okay. And that's okay. It's okay. But I want you guys to know that when you're doing your listing presentation, because we have to generalize and sometimes we will put pieces into to specialize it. I just want you guys to make sure that you're not promising anything that you're not going to want to deliver. Okay. If it's uncomfortable to door knock, a neighborhood and knock on doors, that's cool. There's a lot of other lead generating opportunities for you that doesn't have to require that. Don't put that stuff in your listing presentation. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I know it's like a weird like lock back to, and guys, again, I will give you guides, or I will call you. We will work through this personally, whichever you prefer. You can put it in the chat. And Laura, you and I are supposed to meet soon. And Lisa, I would love to get to know you. And Nicole, I already adore you. So there's that. Okay, we're gonna move on to the second part. Does that make sense? Okay, because we really have to think about a couple different things. Okay, I like PowerPoint presentations so much better than Canva. All right, who? And I want you guys to write this down, okay? Who is important to you in your life? I want to know who, okay? It could be you, and that's okay. It could be your little schnauzer. That's okay too, okay? It could be your children. It could be your spouse. You know what I mean? It could be your aunt. I don't care. I mean, but everybody's got like their who. Who is it? Who's important to you? I think that should be a pretty quick one. I'll give 30 seconds. Okay, now what's important to you? What type of activities or things are important to you? And there is no wrong answer, okay? It could be your boat. I don't know. Okay. It could be, I love to cycle, and that's the community I love to be within. Okay. It could be volunteering. Okay. Be a ton of different things. There's no wrong answer. And FYI, because I did adjust this training so much from last quarter, I do not have the CTA training in here. I think I'm going to do a specialized class on CTAs, call to actions. Okay, I think that's a good breakout session. And that can just be like an hour class. It doesn't have to be like a crazy long one. Okay, why? Why are all these things important to you? Okay, I'm going to give you an example. Because if we don't understand our why, a couple things, then we don't understand our value, then how are we supposed to sit at a table and convince someone else of their why and convince them of our value? Okay, if we don't truly understand it. That's why we're working a little bit on this, okay? Some of this is intimate. You might want to take some time to yourself, you know, and really kind of dive into it. And there's like mission values, you know, types of trainings that are out there as well. We can always dive into that if you want, but I'm a very prospective trainer. Okay, so why are these things important to you? For instance, I'm integrity, right? But I didn't, childhood was a little bit crazy. So therefore, I am so set in my integrity because I want to be able to provide that for my children and anyone around me. I want to be the reliable source. I want to know that every time that someone comes in, they know that I was part of something positive with them, not something negative, right? Being a mom is obviously part of that, okay? So when I think of, yes, my kids and my kids, my husband too, okay, my friends and family too, but my kids, right? I birthed them. They're part of my body. My job is to make sure that they can survive in the wild without me, okay? What's important to you? Being there, being available, you know, attending their stuff, that kind of thing. And why? Why is that important to me? Because my kids are all in these different phases and I'm out of being a young mom. Okay, my kids are like 12 and older. You know, I got one who's almost 21. So right now, why? Because everything that I do with them is because they're getting to a point that they're not going to be in my home anymore. I'm going to be transitioning them out. Okay. And after that, when they don't have to love me because they're stuck in my house, I have to earn my right to be in their lives every day. So how I show up and how I work in the life I provide now will allow me the ability to be able to be a grandparent across state lines and things like that, because I can guarantee that's going to happen. Okay. So who? We're going to start going into your lead source. Now I want you guys to think about this again. I want you to write them what you can think, but sometimes this is just sitting down and having a glass of wine or putting our feet in the pool or whatever it is that we do to calm our brains. Okay. And really just dig into us. So when we think about who our listing presentation is going to be for, okay, and again, it's not going to be for every lead source. You should only have 2 to 3 lead sources at any given time, okay? I'm a big proponent that it is your SOI first and foremost. Second would be your farming, and then you hit a niche market, cancels expireds, you know, absentee owners, FSBOs, you know, the 6Ds, I think it's 5, but I think there's really actually 6, like deceased, downsizing, diapers, you know, that kind of thing, divorce, you know, whatever niche market you're hitting. Okay. So who's your target audience? Okay. Will you use a listing presentation for your SOI? Probably, most likely not. Would you use it for your farming? Legitimate question. Yeah. Would you use it for a niche market?
Can you hear me?
Farming, right? It's all going to be tailored around being the neighborhood expert somehow. Anything else is going to be tailored to where they're personally and emotionally sitting, which is what we talked about last week, right? What is each seller's lead source? Where are they truly sitting? So to recap, because I know you guys weren't on last week, cancels and expires. They're tired. They have an immediate need. Okay. And it wasn't met. They're also pretty hostile. Okay. And they're just being flooded. Right. So your language is going to have to be centered around fixing those issues for them. Okay. FSBOs. FSBOs really don't want your help. It is a rapport building thing. We know that 3 to 5 weeks is usually when they start to get pretty tired. And either they surrender to taking it off or they surrender to listing it with an agent. Okay. So what does that look like? We know that they have an immediate need. We know that they're trying to do it themselves. 9 times out of 10, it is because they don't want to pay additional money. Okay. 9 times out of 10, we have our seasoned FSBOs. I am not talking about the small percentage of FSBOs that can sell their stuff themselves. I'm talking about everybody else, right? They're also subject to not knowing when the market changes too. And the biggest one is they are unrepresented, which accounts for what? Our highest legal suits.
Litigation.
That and property management, okay? So that's the language with them. Farming, what was that one? We don't know. Okay, because we're in there, we're trying to be the neighborhood expert, okay? And so it's really just vetting and providing value and being consistent with your marketing through subliminal, social, mailers, events, so on and so forth, right? But it's a neighborhood expert. That's your CTA with that one. SOI, there's natural trust. Okay, so they have us in their life for a reason. So therefore the verbiage or the CTA with that call to action needs to be based around the trust and asking for referrals and asking how they're doing and checking on them and all the things. Okay. Database, same thing as farming. We don't always know because chances are there's a lot of inquiries. Our SY, there's a lot of various things. So we should have our database organized. We will talk about that in another session. Okay. So who is your target audience? You guys all have a niche. I know, Laura, I know you have a niche, Nicole and Lisa. I would love to dive into that. Everybody here, I'm aware that's physically here. I'm aware of all your niches. Okay. So who's your niche? Who's your target audience? We had rent to buy, unless you've moved from that.
No, I haven't moved from it, no.
Okay.
Just recently though, I've had good luck with my sphere of influence with referrals and stuff. That's what I broke down.
Yeah. Is that probably your number one lead source right now? Or?
Right now, yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. I love that. Okay. So I want you guys to think about that, and probably write it down because you're going to gear your listing presentation around that. Okay. What do they need help with? Right. So just going back to, I know you said SOI, but we were just talking about the rentals versus purchasing, right? They're uneducated on how they can, get through and make it a reality. They're stuck. All their interest is, well, they have no interest. All goes to the homeowner. Okay. They're just paying into someone else's, wealth and retirement or whatever it is. Most of the time, buying a house is cheaper than renting. Okay. I mean, the moving costs, especially when you stack up. I mean, I don't know if anybody here has done PM, but a good PM, like when it comes to the seller and the company itself, they're not there. They're there to represent the seller, not the tenant. Understand that, right? That's their fiduciary duty. So they're going to come in and rack every single fee that they can put in. Oh, you did an application? $45. Oh, I'll lump it together and do it for like 90 for 2. Same price, you know what I mean? Cleaning fee, pet breathes on something fee. You know what I mean? Like there's all the things that they can apply. Late charge for this, late charge for that, you know what I mean? Like all the things, right? So they just don't realize that. Okay. That's not their world because majority, I just did the CE class on it. What is it like? 35% of Arizonians are sitting in a severe deficiency with their money going towards their rent, right? It's more than 50%. Like there's, they're in that severe category. Good portion of those are elderly, Bryce.
Unless you're in my part of town.
Unless you're, are you being snooty, Bryce?
No.
Stop.
No, I'm sorry. I wouldn't take this.
But actually baby boomers also account for majority of our spending too currently in our market. It's kind of crazy. Okay. And then why and how are you going to help them? Okay. Again, if we look at each lead source where niche is, what it is that we're gearing it towards, it's going to be that. Now I've done my listing presentation and I have my pieces in here and I also have it printed out. I will share it with you guys if you want digitally. I will continue to alter. I still need to fix because I haven't gotten all my little emblems that I need, fair housing and stuff like that on it yet. But mine is a general. I'm not hitting a niche. I'm hitting more of an SOI type of database, farming kind of a feel to it. And so I believe the general consumer is missing the opportunity to save money to be able to purchase. So I have a lot of pieces in my thing that are going to come from a lot more value than it feels like I'm asking back for monetarily. Okay, so mine's geared around helping consumers save a little bit, right? And be more educated. It's really what my listing presentation is about, okay? So, and there's a lot of things to do, okay? Now, everybody here is KW, so I'm just gonna say designs in my KW has great templates. It has been very, very finicky. Command in a couple places has been super duper finicky. So as we go through and you want to work on your listing presentation as we go, I hope a lot of you have Canva because that would be my recommendation. It is the easiest plug and play.
You can even
Were you
you
saying?
can even ask AI to do it
Oh, wait,
too.
hold on, let me unmute because it echoes back.
You can ask AI to do it as well.
A lot of you have Canva because that would be my. So Laura's just said that you can ask AI to do it as well. And she's 100% right. So however you choose to do it, I just let's have something. I want you guys to be able to work through this as we're going, okay? All right. We want to work? Okay. Oh, I am way ahead of something. Hold on, guys. Something's not. Something's. Please hold. It's like literally glitching out. Hmm. Okay. Let me reshare this. And Laura, you're the only one with camera. Can you just give me a thumbs up if you see this?
Yeah, your screen's going.
I thought it was all going to come in at one time. Perfect. Thank you, my dear. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we're going to work on this in 3 parts. Okay. First is, who are you and why should they be paying you money? Number 2, so we're going to work on our marketing plan. That's the second part of the listing presentation. And the third is the research. Those to get everybody caught up. That's how we're going to break our listing presentation up. Okay. So if you can see, for me, I have my cover page. I have my bio. I have something very specific to NARS changes. And then I have an us versus them. Okay. We're going to go through each one.
Cover page, bio, and
I have something very specific to the NAR changes. So, oh, we're gonna struggle bus today, guys. It just literally went all the way to the very end. We might just have to do it this way as it's just kind of.
Gonna talk about the typo after the.
Bryce, we know I have typos. No one's editing my stuff. Stop.
No,
Rude.
I know, I just shut up, yeah.
Okay. We're just gonna do it this way. I know y'all can see it fine enough. Okay, so cover page. Why do I think that you should do it somewhere that you can customize it each time? If I bring in the same just generic cover page versus it being branded to the home that I am choosing to present, what does that show?
Generic.
Well, attention to detail. You know what I mean? Thoughtfulness, right? Like we're taking their listing presentation.
I don't know, this is a fancy word, but concierge kind of.
Concierge? What is that?
Yeah, it's like really, really fancy, unique, tailored service to somebody.
Yes. Fancy, unique, tailored service. I like that.
Like-
I'm gonna have to like master that word.
It's like running people to the jet. For the
Yeah,
The limo, the jet.
right? Like red carpet service, right?
Fight Club, sort of.
Mhm. I like it. Do you know what else it does? It's like a subliminal message. I've already said, I'm here and this is my listing. I've already taken the time, right? So know that, right? I do have my, fair housing realtor logo on this one. I just don't on the rest of them. So this particular one, right? We want to make sure that we have a property photo. There's lots of ways to do that. You can go on a Zillow, snapshot it. Okay. So you're not pushing this anywhere. It's a photo that's online. You're just throwing it into the presentation, right? The Bed Bath property, info, bed bath square footage, things like that, right? Just again, shows that attention to detail. And then, all of your info. Okay. I like to just create, if you notice, you'll see it on the bottom right here. Well, you guys, right here, I will always put just like my little email, phone number, and name on the very bottom of all the pages. You know what I mean? Then each page is still branded to me specifically, in the event that they throw things away, okay? So. Let's see where we're- And yes, I did do mine in Canva, okay? So us printing things out looks pretty good here in the office, okay? So I want to encourage you guys, if you need to, come print out here as well. All right, so any questions about cover pages? Okay, you can do that in designs as well. So feel free to do that if you want. And I mean my KW. Okay, but so this one, you guys just, I'm actually going to condense mine a little bit down a little bit more. Okay, but there's reviews. I have my stats. Actually, I have to update them because Real Trends just emailed me with all of my numbers historically. Again, my stuff is on the bottom, right? And I do also have the photo behind that as well. Let's just fade it out, and there's some vignette and stuff like that. Does anyone notice anything yet about these two photos or these two pieces in my listing presentation?
Use the house.
Oh, yeah, that is a good one. I didn't, yeah, I didn't. My branding already is consistent.
With color scheme. and
Yeah.
but-
Consistency
Some stuff you
in
got,
your branding.
some stuff you got a watermark and.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so anything, this, guys, needs to match your signs. It needs to match your print that you're sending out, door knockers, every door directs, everything like that. All your branding should be consistent. Okay, why? Because it's all subliminal. And we live in an area that every type of communication is acceptable, therefore, everything should be hit, okay? Now you'll see, I will break my stuff up so it's not all black by reversing. Okay? So, but everything again is consistent. I do like though, black being digital and print being white, just so you, like I've said it. Now, there is something I do need to do, and that's QR code. I did not get to that because I was still working on the presentation. But if it's print, QR code it. If it's digital, link it. Always needs to go back to your website and stuff, okay? So include a photo, people. Okay? And if you feel that it's outdated or it doesn't look like you, then update it. We will always have like little photo headshot days. There's a ton of, even selfies, seriously, like just update your photo if you feel comfortable, but put your photo on there, okay? You know how many times people are going to meet with agents? Okay, put your photo on stuff. They're going to look at your mug anyways, just saying. Reviews or stats. Sometimes when we come in, we don't have reviews and stats. I get it. Pull off a KW. You go to my KW, research any of our stuff, pull from that, okay? Pull from your market center stats. If you need help with it, let me know. Okay? But have reviews and stats, what people say, you know? You can take a review from someone else, you know, that maybe you did business with that wasn't real estate and can just speak to your character. That's still a review about who you are. Okay, so don't let, oh, I'm new, cloud anything. Like Aiden, you're gonna do one off of me, you know, you're gonna co-list with me, and so we can work you through a listing, right? Piggyback off me. That's cool. It's there for you to use. Okay. And stats. People love stats. And a brief bio. Okay. No one needs your whole freaking work history. If we wanted to read a bio, we would pick up a book. No one wants to read a book. A little bit snippet. Like I said, I'm going to reduce this more, make the font a little bit bigger. But yeah. Questions about your bio page? I guess we got lots of experts over here. Laura, did you have something? Oh, wait, let me unmute real quick, babe.
Are our market center stats posted anywhere?
Yeah. I'll get them for you.
Questions
Yes,
about your bio page?
yes. Go, I'm listening.
No, I don't have anything. I think this is a great idea. I currently don't have this in mind, so
Oh, wait,
it
let
would
me,
be nice to have.
Are our market center stats posted?
Okay, say that one more time, love. I had to mute something. Go.
Oh, you're fine. I was just saying that I love this information. I did ask for a copy if you could send it to us so that
Yep.
I
I'll
can
check it
update
out.
mine.
Do me a favor, and y'all have my phone number. If you don't, I think you do. Just text me your email.
Okay.
And I don't know if we've actually spoken yet, so I'll put it in the chat. We'll make it easy. And then just text me and I'll make sure you're on the email and I'll send you guys my listing presentation. And again, remember, it's not completely done, but you get the gist.
And I wasn't here in the beginning. Sorry, I was a little bit late. I was trying to get it on my computer, but it wasn't working, so I'm here on the phone. But do you go over your listing presentation, or are you sending it before you actually meet with them?
No, I'm going to absolutely wait until, unless they wanted to see it prior, because I want to talk about it. Because you know how many times I've sat down and I've needed half of it or a quarter of it? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's usually just something I'm going to leave. It's going to be it's going to be in a folder. You know what I mean? It's going to be in a nice presentation for them. I'm not always going to go through all the physical pieces of it. So
Okay.
yeah, no, I would, I don't know that yeah, there's been a couple times, I guess, that I've had to send prior. Yeah, Kevin's shaking his head. I think we've had to on the GLT, but not something I would initially do, because then you're giving them all the objections right there too. You're kind of giving all your cards away. The whole piece of it is to have this to support your conversation and backing your value up, right? Not to replace it.
Yeah. So like my presentation again is more generic and not geared for each house. So like my presentation is very generic. So I do send it ahead of time of like talking points and like how I strategize. And then like when I'm there, I actually like go over like their specific housing points and stuff. So I'm curious to see how you do it, to see how maybe I do need to change how I'm,
I don't think there's a wrong way, if you realize that your demographic, your delivery of it's not working, you know what I mean? Then we want to shift and pivot. But do you feel like that works for you?
It does. I mean, I've got, a 90% on being chosen, I guess I should say, of getting the listing.
Maybe I need to start doing it beforehand.
I don't know. I don't think that.
No, I'm serious. Like, this is the coolest thing about this, Laura, right? Is I'm doing this with you guys because I have all this like knowledge and experience. I am nowhere near like the best at anything, guys. You know how much I get to learn from you? Like, it's fun. Like, I'm going to start doing that. Like, I'm going to test it out, Laura, because if that works, providing the value beforehand, you know what I mean? I just never.
Yeah, I mean, but like mine isn't mine is very generic. Like it goes over like who I am and then, like basic, like listing your house, like getting it ready, staging it, like all of those just like basic points. And then when I do meet with them, I am going over what your presentation is presenting.
Gotcha. So it seems like you have like a two-step process with that. But it seems to
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
100%. I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, 90% is pretty good, girl. So if that's working for you, then we clearly have something to listen to. Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
90, yeah. But I am also very buyer heavy. I'm not very listing heavy. So I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I would take your advice over mine. You have a lot more experience than me.
But I do, I want to test it to see like what that works, how that's received, right? Because lately I've been sitting in a place that my tenure just is almost automatically like, oh, you've been doing this for so long. Okay, whatever. I don't get a lot of flack back too much when I'm actually going on the listing appointment. Okay. But we have, like I said, have had to do it in the past. I don't know that it's actually won us stuff, but we were calling and making appointments. It's really tough. FSBOs, cancels, and expireds, right? Like they're cranky. They're just like, they're like a child without food for a day. It's nasty. We love them. We want to help them. They just don't want to let us. Okay. Let's see. Let me be patient with me because it's still glitching out. Okay. So this one, and again, I will send this to you. Okay. I'm going to read what it is in case you guys can't up there. So let me grab my page because I'm blind as but yeah. Keller Williams, equal agent opportunist or opportunity, ensuring that both seller and buyers are represented to the full. That's a tagline. We believe that both the selling and purchasing agents work hard to represent and advocate for their clients. Compensation is necessary to ensure that you are protected on both sides. Okay. What we know, 15% of buyers are FHA, most likely first home buyers, which means they don't always have the funds sitting there. 9% of buyers are VA and cannot pay buyers commissions as of this moment. Okay. 67% of transactional lawsuits are due to unrepresented buyers and sellers. Because what we're currently being told, right, is if we're on the listing side, we can't represent the buy side. Okay. So either that buyer is unrepresented or we're having to refer out, one of the two. Okay. And considering we've seen some pretty nasty things happening recently, like a seller offering 2.5% and the buyer's agent still coming after the 0.5%, and taking it out of the buyer's concessions. Yeah, that's the kind of crap we're seeing. And I'm just going to be honest, I will run someone's butt all the way up if I find out any of y'all in this office are doing that. Okay. If we would have accepted 2.5% beforehand, we should accept it now. Okay. The whole point of this is not to get more money and be greedy. It's to protect our commissions. So don't be part of that problem because I can tell you right now, that's going to be its own problem. Okay. So, and fourth, the buyer broker will allow buyer's agents to not look at homes with no commissions. Is that not fact? So why would I have this one page in here? Because if my seller's like, I'm not paying no commissions, I'll be honest, I'm like, and I'm out. I'm not playing that game with you. If we're not sitting in a position where we can offer even anything, the only time I could understand that is if we're dealing with a hard up seller that's like, I don't have anything and I have to go. Okay. But our job is to do what's best for our clients. Okay. Never should commissions interfere with the sale, but we also can't not be paid either. Okay. So I don't even want to have the conversation. Here's some stats. They come from NAR, all of our national statistical stuff. And I'm saying I support our buyer's agents getting money too. Okay. So yes, I will send that out. But my value, what do I stand for, right? Remember, come back to what's my core value? Integrity. Okay. That one page is my value. We will work hard for you, but both sides are owed. Both sides are gonna work hard. Okay, again, my presentation's in line with my core value, right? Okay, I mean, that's probably the most, if you want to say political, I have ever gotten with anything. But I'm willing to stand on a dying hill over this, and have even debated putting a little social out. If you're part of that problem, we're out. Unfriend me, let's go. You know what I mean? So, excuse me. Rachel's off her soapbox, okay? Maybe, probably not. Any questions about providing something of value, like about us, like, right? I believe that it is important to me that renters recognize how capable they are of home ownership. Here's some stats on why home ownership is better than something else, right? Absentee owners, I'm just spitballing. There's no wrong combination. Okay, we're just spitballing. So I'm asking you guys. So absentee owners, right? Chances are it's a second home and or a prime investment. Either way, it's not necessary for the roof over their heads, right? So the value, you know what I mean? I am committed to helping sellers get the most out of their investment properties. You know what I mean? Here's where our market's sitting. It's depreciating or it's appreciating or whatever the case is, that, you know, this is how and whatever, right? Okay. So again, whatever it is that your stance is, or whatever it is that you're like being, you know, Kyle, I am passionate about helping homeowners, you know, sell their home for the most, or, you know, help them find their next dream home, right? Aiden, you know, my mission is to help the growth of, and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? That could be market stats that you're throwing in there to support the growth of Phoenix or something like that. I mean, you can spin it to be a literal on your figurative, if that makes any sense. And again, the more we do that, the more in alignment with our core value that we need to be, okay? So what you stand for, statistics, and a little bit about, you know, you, okay? So any questions about this page? Again, I will send it out. It'll be part of the packet. Okay. All right. This has always been one of my favorites. And if you were to go through my last 5 years with like these big expansion teams, this is probably one of the most consistent slide-ins to a listing presentation. That probably every team has gotten some version of this. And why would I do this? Number one, we never want to be disparaging. That goes against our code of ethics, okay? But we still have to say why we are going to be better than the next person, right? We still have to sell ourselves, okay? So I don't have to go in when I look at this page. And again, let me try to zoom in for you guys so you can see a little bit better. Oh no, it's not gonna do. Canva's just gonna get, it's just gonna get smaller. Okay, again, I'll read them out loud, but you guys can put whatever you want. But this is what I know I'm capable of doing, okay? So please understand there's nothing on here that I am saying and going, well, I'm gonna put it on here because I'm better than the other one, but I ain't gonna commit to it, right? I'm going to follow through with it. Okay. So Keller Williams, Northeast versus other agents. On our left hand, we have, or our right hand, we have others. They're gonna place it on the MLS. And I'm gonna tell you right now, through the team building, going through COVID, now being a team lead and talking to such an extensive variety of people, that is, everybody's like, I understand why it's selling, you know, it was selling before. That's because the MLS was never meant to really sell it. It is just an advertising platform. You still have to do your job. Like, you still have to be a sales agent. You still have to prospect for a buyer. Since the dawn of time, that is our job as a listing agent, is to prospect for a buyer. And that's never going to be one way. So I'm gonna go back to social. The social class that we just had. Who was in there? You twos? Just the twos of you? Okay. So social actually started with chat back in the late 70s, right? It was chat that was constructed for more educational platforms, okay? That ended up morphing into AOL, things like that, right? And then we started to get video messaging pieces with it. And then we have our social networking platforms start to come up, like MySpace. There was a couple actually between that and stuff like that, right? So, but the point I'm getting to is back in the day, okay? And I mean, if someone can speak to it, cool, but it used to be that your door was knocked on if someone wanted to solicit you. Okay, door-to-door salesman. That was like a huge thing, right? Well, then telephone was a more intimate way for us to communicate. So if someone had our digits, right? They probably were friends and family of some sort. Well, then we started to saturate that market. Okay. And that happened for quite some time, right? And then people started getting like, you know, call waiting and some other pieces, you know, and screening started to happen. And then we had cell phones really start to take effect, right? Well, then people are still knocking on our doors. Our landline is still ringing, and our cell phone is now the intimate place that we are chatting on. Okay. And there's a reason why I'm sharing the story with you. So then as we start to go through there and we start to have some social platforms pick up like Skype, you know, like visual stuff like Skype, and then we start to have the networking platforms, right? All of a sudden, we're still having people knock at our door and sell us. Okay. Oh, I forgot mailers in there too, because mail was a big thing too. Okay. Put that in the beginning, right? Mail still being hit, landline still being hit, or primary phone. Now we got our cell phones being hit, right? Texting has now become, it's being infiltrated, right? But our social's intimate because we don't want everyone to see our lives. Well, then COVID hits. And social's now nowhere near intimate. In fact, I don't think we have any kind of communication platform that's more intimate than in person to person, just for the record. Okay, because everything is. So when an agent tells me, well, I don't understand why my listing's not selling now. And my question is, well, what have you done? Well, it's on the MLS. And, you know, I had one open house. I want to shin kick him lovingly. Okay. Why? Because you're not saturating every communication platform, right? So they're going to place on the MLS. We're going to place on the MLS. We're going to place it on our personal website with a landing page because Command allows us to do it and it's pretty easy. And you can just literally put your listing number in and then all of a sudden you have a listing page on your Command website. Just saying.
You said in Command, you can put your,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Canva, okay.
No, but yeah. But you can also like, there's a lot of ways you can do that too. You do understand that you could create like a presentation or a slide that is viewable on Canva as well. 100%. That could be a moving piece to things. Yes. I mean, we might need to have like a whole Canva workshop because I've been in it since the beginning and it's not even the same thing. Okay. We're going to have national and KW reach through social and people that we know, you know what I mean? Because we network within KW. And we have the ability to solicit them. Okay, and it's gonna be posted to all of our social medias, databases and such, right? They are gonna provide basic photos and a photo video. Anyone know what a photo video is versus a video tour? Okay, it is just a slideshow of front going through the house of all the photos that were ever done. Is that not fine? Yes, it's okay. Okay, but the whole point is we need to have whatever marketing leverage we have so that we can play off of it, right? Like, I'd rather something a little slicker and actually have some drone footage. Most photographers are allowed to do that. It's an extra something for it, but it's really not that bad. And when you really take into consideration how much you're going to make off of this, you should have already pulled stuff from your last deal to be able to put towards your marketing to be able to support the next deal. Okay. And if that's an issue, we will talk about wealth and finance as well. Not on this one, but be prepared. We are going to provide the top of the line photographer for your home with drone photos and community ones if applicable. And we will also provide a 3D interactive virtual tour. Why? Because I own a Matterport camera, so I can speak to that. Travis Eaton is probably my favorite photographer. He'll probably be a sponsored vendor for this market center. He has got exceptional photos. He's even doing some listing packages for us that are specifically for us at discounted rates as well. But he does high-end stuff. Okay, that's his jam, right? I'm gonna provide that. They're gonna do less than 2 open houses. We're gonna execute an open house weekend and provide as many open houses as possible. This allows us to digitally and physically market aggressively. Because does it not? One open house allows us to hit our database, our social multiple times, you know what I mean? Like the neighborhood multiple times, like it doesn't matter. We have value that we can then regurgitate. So we want as many opportunities to do so. Gonna market it to MLS and make one Facebook post, okay? We're gonna market your home to agents, our entire database, our internal reach of KW within our individual offices on social to local businesses, because you should be business to business knocking your open houses and your listing, just saying. Open houses, neighborhood touches, surrounding neighborhoods and out-of-state buyers. Why? Because, you know, Command's got this amazing referral network that actually allows us to geo-target our listing and look at the referral pattern of our listing to see where our out-of-state buyers and referrals are coming from. What does that then allow us to do? It allows us to essentially create additional or specialized audiences within our social media. We will be talking about that during social, just saying. And be able to put an ad out there in which I'm targeting Washington buyers because they're moving into Surprise, hypothetically. I know that because I've done that one. Okay, we have if you look at Phoenix as a whole, most of our referral places, we got like Jersey, a lot of you folk. Okay, we have Washington, Northern California, Chicago. Oh, there's another big one. So it's really just knowing, right? So if my listing's stagnant or I want to be more specific and provide value, $20 will give me a list of leads that I can go back to my seller and be like, hey, I'm working on them. Because you are going to be working on them. Doesn't mean they're always going to, you know what I mean? But we're being intentional with what we're choosing to do. Okay. Update with major events and wait for you to ask. So, you know, you're going to get a weekly update with reporting and marketing efforts, your accountability to your seller. When you guys clock into a job that you clock into, right? We clock in, whatever. Do you not get held accountable for what it is you were supposed to do for that job? Why would you not treat your seller the same? Okay, so when the sellers go and they're going to NAR, I'm going to get on my high horse again. They're going up to NAR, right? And they're like, hey, I'm paying too much for. Of course. There's no way that a seller or buyer could truly know how much we're on the back end working their stuff. Never, never. Okay. Our job description does not say I'm going to pick up heels in hot, pick up poop in heels in a white jacket. Okay. No one says I got to get up on a ladder and change your air filters because it smells in here and that's going to impact the sale of your home and I have to do what's best for you. Okay. No one's going to tell you that you're fielding phone calls at 11 and 12 o'clock at night sometimes. Okay. There's no way for them to understand. So why would you not take every opportunity to sit and itemize with facts?
Don't forget the birds.
The birds?
I told you I went to a open house and I opened the door and there were birds in the house.
Oh, the birds in
Vacant
the
house.
vacant house. Yeah, birds. Yeah, like all the things you end up finding. Yeah, I know. So, right, like the crazy, okay, I get it. The way technology is sitting, we're being watched with everything, whether you're like, we just are, okay? And I'm not one to be like all weird like that. But the fact is I've had to work with the back end of systems for so long, and I've been in AI before you guys knew about it, okay? Everything is tracking everything. Unless you're living in a hole, like a hobbit hole in the middle of nowhere with no electricity whatsoever, you're being monitored somehow, okay? Why do I say that? Because I did it again. My blonde moments. I was in like 5 different directions in my head. Take me back. The updates. Oh, cool. So it's tracking everything, right? So if it's tracking everything, guess what? Nothing you do like on a system is without reporting. Okay. If we send an ad or a post, guess what? All the platforms report. Okay. If we send a database hit out, depending if it's smart plans or, you know, a batch email or, you know, MailChimp or like something like that, guess what? It all has reporting. If you're doing your job, what's going to stop you from snapshotting that reporting, putting in a weekly email and saying, hey, I did my job, seller. Thank you for still entrusting me for the next week as we try to sell your home. Bet you won't be losing that listing if it's sitting there past market days. Yes.
Isn't there an app called, what's it, House Chat, House Stub or something that it shows how many times somebody's looked at it or clicked on the internet? In other words.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that, but understand that they're going to be pulling from it's a third party bot. So there's going to be syncing issues when you can literally go into all your platforms directly.
Okay.
What it's also not going to do is track anything in Command or any of your databases specifically. So you will be missing those numbers. It's also not going to track your actual physical activities because the only other person that knows that, is you because you did them.
First, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think in the MLS. You can also track the number of.
Yeah, in MLS, there's a whole seller's report. You can email it to them. It gives you a breakdown of how many times it was viewed, hidden, favorited,
Mhm.
and the whole traffic. Okay, that's perfect as well. But why would you not be supplying them with the analytics that show that you're doing your job? I'm okay, off high horse, number 2, or whatever it is I'm on. Okay, any questions about seller updates? I mean, because that was the last piece. I feel like I just went off on a tangent in my thing. So however you construct it, you don't have to have a you versus them. I just have always worked for teams. So it's always the value of what we could provide versus a single agent was always there. So it always ended up being a content piece. When I started to get into my own thing and go, okay, I've got to revamp my stuff now that I'm an individual agent again. What does that look like and what can I provide? I was like, oh, this is still relevant. Because the cool thing, guys, is KW is amazing. And if you don't think that we have a ton of value in this office, I'm going to tell you that we have put so many plug and play things in for you guys. I will get there into the marketing thing. Never mind. I want to jump ahead. Okay. Anybody online? Y'all have anything to add or? Okay. Yeah, no.
No, I'm just excited for the stats. I've always mentioned those stats. I never had the actual ones.
For the MLS ones? Or what?
The like how many, I always forgot like how many agents we had and like, like I always just like, oh yeah, we're going to be putting it on our website. We have, over 600 agents and that's just a number that I came up with. So I don't even know if that's true. I know that we have a lot of agents. But
127 and 113. I said 230. Did I say 7 and 13? 40? 240?
yeah, but doesn't it link to other KWs or no?
It does, like when it's on all the other stuff, right? But
Right.
really the easiest way is we just syndicate to over 800 different websites and, all of our Facebook reach specifically too, as well as anything that's on our Command and stuff. It's all internationally, exposed per se. It's not pushed out there, but it's exposed. Because my KW has, if you go to am I on screen? I wonder if it'll let me. Okay, remind me to show you guys, like when we're done with this section, maybe during the break. I will show you how you can actually do that pretty quickly. Okay. All right. So where am I? Oh, that's not there. Okay, so we're gonna take 15 minutes. Okay, I need to use the restroom. So we're gonna run Give me 1 second, I'll be back, and then I'll go back to KW and show you, yes, they have to lop through a couple different places, but I can show you how you're exposed internationally on our mykw.com or kw.com. Okay. All right. So I'm going to mute. Okay. Just so there's fluidity throughout the office. You guys just take a minute. I will put a timer on. Okay. And then we'll be back. And if you have questions, we'll just open with like, hey, I thought about this, or hey, have you thought about this in the value piece before we get into marketing, okay? Guess I'll put music on too.
This is gold for me.
Is it?
Because next Sunday I'm going to a christening. And there's a grandma that's gonna be moving from Las Vegas. So
Okay, 225 peoples.
After adults, so we have to think about
Okay, I'm gonna for a little bit.
anyway, it's gonna be gold to get those stats and stuff, and this whole focus on who you are. Cause Sunday, I'm gonna meet Grandma Joy.
Grandma Joy, huh?
Grandma Joy, yeah, Las Vegas.
Whoa.
We sang with Gladys Knight and the Pips.
Oh, really? That's actually kind of neat.
Yeah, the gal that, Damaris's ex-husband, her, that's his mom, that coming down for a christening of for a great grandchild.
Oh, that's really neat.
Yeah, she wants, all the kids are down here, so she wants to meet the Davis. I think I got a referral just as a property manager, but she doesn't want to sell her Davis home. She wants to
Gotcha.
keep it as a rental. And, got a lot, like all folks in their 80s that are married rich and all that, and so she's got a lot of cash,
Mm-hmm.
so.
So there's a lot to work with.
But yeah, it's a relationship though.
Okay. All right, so I'm sharing my whole screen right now because I want to show you guys a couple things. First off, I will show this a couple times during the two courses that we're currently working, which is a social media one and this one. But if we go into command, let me get into my personal one. So the reason why this is so powerful, guys, let me screen share with y'all. Online, can you see my screen? Laura, Lisa, Nicole, anyone? Bueller?
I can see it.
Cool. Perfect. All right. So we have these cool little mods on the left-hand side. Okay. And in here, we have this little drop, like this little pin, right, with the person in it. That is where we would send or receive a referral. Okay. If you haven't used this, get familiar because we are international. This is the easiest way. You can literally send a referral. Okay. And you don't have to like do it, you know, W-9 or any of that. It's all internal. Okay. It's super cool. It sends them the whole contact information. It is probably one of the most flawless pieces of this system. Okay. Now, if you have looked for a referral agent outside of our jurisdiction somehow, you will know that this is the map that you use. If you have not used it, you will start with the area that you are trying to locate a referral first. And I'm only showing you this in case you guys don't know how to use it, because if you're not utilizing your referral business, and if you guys are out of state, this will be the first thing I ask you is, do you have your database of SOI? Well, I'm not from this state, and that's a whole referral network right there. Okay. So anyways, it will pull up, you know, people, but you can search, you can filter units. Okay. If you're really looking for, you know, top producer, if you're looking for a leasing agent, okay, all those things, it's pretty cool. If you haven't utilized that and you got people out of state, now you can. And if you don't, I can't help you. Okay. So if you see right here, it says production because it is asking for production, right? Agents are going to produce. So I'm going to give you agents. If you drop down, you can look at market centers. Okay. Just FYI. Show you those are the market centers within Seattle. Okay. And you can look at your network. Okay. The point I brought you here, because I like to squirrel, is this piece. That drop down that says referral patterns. Okay. I don't know why. And the only reason I think it does this is because Austin is our headquarters, but it always defaults to Austin. Okay. But if I were to put in, because our market center is what in Phoenix, so I'm just going to do that for the prosperity of showing you guys. Okay. Put Phoenix in. What am I saying? wow, believe it or not, 11% of our referrals actually come from Scottsdale. Okay. Arkansas, New Mexico, Colorado, Prescott, Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin, wherever that is. Although we have a lot of you Midwesterners here, Colorado, Texas, so on and so forth. So you can these are the top 20, right? But you can kind of see like where that's happening. Mesa. Let's look at Mesa. We got some of you folk over there, right? Wow, that would make sense. See, over on our West North Valley just had our highest price point, which is Scottsdale, say that a lot of those people moving into Phoenix are coming from there into a cheaper price point. Same thing for Gilbert. If you know anything about the East Valley, then you know that Gilbert is a pretty high price point. And so they, you know, like we've got some movement up there, right? That's kind of neat. So it'll show you what direction it's going as well. Okay. But this is a good thing. So if you know that we're getting some people from LA and Denver or Delaware, Texas, things like that, right? Makes sense to target through social media. Well, what's also really cool about that is social, when you do a post, okay, it's going to be your immediate, like, you know, people that you're friends with or following or whatever the social platform for friends is, okay? When you do an ad, okay, you're still only going to have so much of a reach within the pool of people based off of the demographics and things like that within your pool. So you're still limited unless you have an extensive reach to begin with, you know, and you've got like 3,000 friends, you know, and you've got 10,000 followers. And what is TikTok? Is that followers too? TikTok followers? I think it is. I don't know, whatever it is. Okay, whatever the platform is. So Command allows us to run ads through there. And because we're tapping into KW's whole, why? Because we're national, international, we're such a big brokerage, our reach is extensive and our cost per lead is considerably lower and our amount of leads is considerably higher versus the average person that posts to social media platforms and pays an ad, okay? Just throwing it out there because you will hear me talk about things like this a lot, okay? I hope that was pretty easy to get to. If you guys have any questions, let me know, but onward we go. Okay.
Now, excuse me.
Yes.
Did you say you can, once you establish those referral networks and there's acceptance, reciprocity or whatever,
Mhm.
you can start pushing out ads to those people?
Yes. So the cool thing about, like, let's just use Facebook, right? It's probably, I think, trying to think of social. We're gonna tomorrow we're gonna go, or Thursday we're gonna go through FOMO, right? So make sure that you guys have all the vital social media platforms, and if something can be linked, it is okay. Please have your computers if you're coming to social and your headshots, FYI, and bio, those 3 things. And if you're at home, just make sure you have access to those 3 things because you're going to be searching everywhere. And if you have a specific logo. Okay, sorry. So when you go into Facebook, you can target your ad and you can put cities and stuff in and say within 1 to 50 miles of that town or city. That is not just here in Arizona. You can do that anywhere. Okay. Now, let's say, because Facebook is so great about capturing information, and if you guys need a skip tracing platform, I'm just going to tell you $20 a month, forewarned, is the best. Gives you criminal background, helps you screen your tenant or your clients and stuff like that too. You have to have a background check, and it's so secure that every time you log in, it gives you a text message to log in. Okay, you can't just, no one can use it. It just like our MLS is pretty locked down. But for $20 a month, it is by far the best skip tracing. It doesn't give you emails, but I say that because we're talking about internet leads, and internet leads are what, Bryce?
Very expensive.
They can't be, but they're inquiries more than anything.
Exactly.
They're not, I wouldn't consider them a lead
Mhm.
yet, right? They have to be vetted and nurtured and stuff like that. So forewarn's a good one because sometimes they'll put crap information into the boxes, okay? So with that said, let's say that we know that this particular listing, we have a lot of people coming from Washington, for instance, okay? And we've been socially targeting and putting some ads behind the actual, and again, we'll go through this for social. I'm just expanding on what was asked about the targeting. So we've already targeted them per the paid ad that we did, right? Saying within so many miles of this particular city. Okay. Then once you get that list and it starts to stack, it's like, well, what do I do? Yeah, I can create a smart plan. Okay. I can call them and do those things too, but like, what else can I do with it? The cool thing is the meta, the matrix. I call it the matrix. It wouldn't surprise me if the meta doesn't hold most of our social media platforms. Right now, it holds the two biggest, which is Insta and Facebook. Okay. Started with Facebook, then Insta came in. But it is like the back end. It's like this rabbit hole of stuff. Okay. I mean, I probably need a whole week to train on that thing alone. But anyways, in there, you can create custom audiences. Okay. And you would need email addresses. Well, we know those email addresses are attached to the social because they came in as a lead on what? Social. Okay. So we can re-put them in there and continue to retarget them. Okay. Without having to pay for it. Okay. So you get your leads cheaper and we can keep retargeting them on social media and they're in our database to have a very specific, why should you move to Arizona?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Local stats, why it's beneficial. Like that's a whole CTA right there. That's a whole thing. And then if they need to buy here, chances are what? Probably need to sell too. Okay. I mean, I would waver in buyer over seller always, but there's a good chance, right? So what does that mean? That thing I just showed you with the referral, where you can put your referral in there. Okay. Now we're just finding him a KW agent that we can set a referral agreement with and a referral partnership. And we can make sure that we're on that side of it as well. Bam, just with that, we didn't even go into actual lead genning.
Mhm.
Okay. There's a lot of things we're missing that we can do with our stuff. Questions from anyone online, my dears?
No, I was already doing that. I actually did that twice last year. I got 2 leads from that and 2 sales from that.
Well, thank you for proving my point, Miss Christensen. I appreciate that. Yes, there's value in all the platforms in which we can solicit our business. Buckle up, you better be taking notes, Aiden. Okay, Aiden's gonna do a listing with me. Bless your heart, sweetheart.
Totally do it.
Okay, I'm gonna see, I refresh, so I'm gonna see if this, oh, what else was I gonna show you? That's what I was gonna show you. Okay. So what are all of our emails and everything and websites all based out of, right? It is good old fashioned kw.com. The thing that every IDX feed in the country and world is fed into. Okay. If you go here, you can look at land, commercial, worldwide, all the things, right? You have a direct connection with this, guys. Okay. They can search a home, which would pull you up. Okay. Looking for a KW agent. I'm just going to, my name is not very, my first name's pretty basic. The last one's not. So, right. I mean, so there I am. Right there on the international website. Oh, and I just clicked that one button. There's my website. If I had a listing right now, and I don't, I have 2 coming up this next couple of weeks, but I don't have one right now. If I had one, I'd also have a landing page on here that had directly to the website. So what did that just make that listing? International.
Yeah.
Okay. It's accessible. So when I say in my us versus them, and I say that we have international weight that way, and that it will be accessible that way, that's how. Now, no different than Zillow and Fizbos, and you got to go through a place to get to a place to a place. But the point is that it's directly connected to our international, like our whole KW site. This is what franchises pay for, right? So what you guys get being in the market center is access to this type of connection. So if you sat down there, like, well, tell me how. Here's me. Let me pull me up. Dink. Oh, there's your listing right there on our international site.
That's interesting.
Do you see? Perspective is everything.
Mhm.
And again, integrity with me. So I never I will die on some hills, okay, of just, it's not right, it's wrong, okay? I live my life that way. So nothing I will do will ever compromise, because the fact is that's the truth. Is their listing, if I created a landing page on my thing because it's connected to KW as a whole, which is the platform internationally, I am being absolutely truthful in what I'm saying, and I can show it. Why are you not using it? Just saying.
Just, I don't know.
Because
this
I
is
didn't know it was there.
Exactly. Now you do. This is why all you top producers need to be on here. Just saying. Laura, help me out. Okay. What were you saying, Bryce?
Hypothetical, there's this German company, a lot of German corporations are bailing. Some of them are coming here. There's kind of 2 degrees of separation. There's a German kid that's coming here, and there's other people that be trailing him. So if you were to give him a link like that, or find out who the corporate relocation people are, would that be?
If you have such a direct connection that you could tap into that, I wouldn't give him that site. I would just show him like, this is where, but really it's coming down to, I would give him your direct site, and I would have something based on there, you know, that is, because you guys can create a lot of stuff on your command. Matt Meyer, who's our regional tech director, just emailed me late last night asking if he could come in and teach any command classes. So I just haven't had the chance because I was working on all the trainings, and I had my own, you know, 3 hours of lead gen this morning that I honored. I'm going to send him back specifically asking later this month and early next month that he have an in-depth look at how to customize our KW websites. If we're paying $90 a month for your admin fee here, right? 40 of it's here, right, Kyle? 50 of it's to KWRI? Our monthly fee, the 90, 40 of it's to the market center. Huh?
Most of it, I think it's 50.
So 50 is to KWRI, that's to pay for, right? The other stuff is all, it's electricity and all the other stuff you guys pay for. Okay, if you're not in the office and you pay for it for us, and we appreciate it, thank you. We like keeping the lights on. Okay, but the point I'm getting to is I have been in a lot of CRMs, guys. And I have been absolutely spoiled by, and I've had to break CRMs down and build them back up, you know, with 50 to 120,000 people in it. Okay. Multiple states and stuff. Okay. What they are doing and what they're morphing this into is to be more than competitive. And when you have everything in one place, that's invaluable. It's just invaluable. Okay. So you guys want to pay for like a custom website, you guys are more than welcome to do that, I guess. But if we could show you how to use your existing KW website that's directly attached to our international website, okay, national and international website, and we could find a way to link it and, you know, link our Google page to that so that it's first on the thing, you're wasting money. Okay. You guys aren't asking the right questions. Okay. Yes, we don't know what we don't know. Okay. Moving forward, just to prove what I was talking about. Okay. We're going to move forward into marketing. Again, you guys will get my whole presentation so you guys can pick and choose what you guys want to do. I did everything I have in Canva. Okay. I love KW Designs. It's just been a little bit finicky and was glitching out on me for like the 3rd time trying to show you guys. So, sometimes I'm like, work smarter, not harder. Okay. All right. So, oh, did you see? I found it online. Why? Because 91% of home buyers, okay, do their research online. 91%. 57% find their home online. They didn't purchase it online. They need us. That's why we're invaluable. They found it online. Okay. So when you also take into consideration that, again, going back to the social piece and any social platform, okay, 87% of the world's using social media. Okay, so just to kind of throw some stats in there to prove my point. Okay. Why this keeps happening, guys? Yeah, something's going on with I think my computer. We're just gonna have to keep doing it this way. Okay. Okay, marketing build out. So we see the 4 pieces we just created, which was our value. I'm not saying they need to go in that order. Okay, except for the cover page. Please put the cover page first. Everything else you can splice how your flow goes. It's just I would recommend having at least those 4 value pieces or something like that. Okay. So marketing plan, open houses, because I am going to get onto another big soapbox about open houses. Examples of photos and or marketing. Okay. I will be building out more stuff because I'm going to show you something pretty wicked that we've been working on for you guys. And then what I would consider to be additives. Okay. I put value additives because that was my thing, but we have plug and play pieces, you know, get ready for listing photos, right? Get ready for showing. This is how we declutter our house. You know, here's the selling process, whatever. There's a whole bunch of inserts at the office, and I will be working on digitally putting them in for all you folk across the city so that you guys can print or you can order and maybe come see me, or you're going to get a picture of me going, can get your mail. Bryce, you got one of those, didn't you? Yeah. Sorry. Anyways, but additives, okay. I don't have additives in mind because Travis Eaton, who's been doing all of our photography, like for a lot of us agents in here, he's just been fantastic. He's actually going to be teaching 2 classes, and one of them is what you don't see that I do, because he sees everything through a lens, right? Like the do's and don'ts. And then he's going to go through some virtual staging, and I want those pieces. Okay. Him and I are going to be working on, you know, revamping some of the prepping the house for listings and stuff like that, because see, our houses aren't flying off the shelf. We have to go back to before COVID when we had to stage and prep a house. Okay. It has to be competitive with the market if they're going to ask the price that they're going to ask. If not, the condition will result in it accumulating days on market, which is always a listing's worst nightmare, on top of the price just getting dinged. Okay, so we have to set realistic expectations or make changes that are conducive to where that particular neighborhood market is, okay? So marketing plan, open houses, photos and or marketing examples, and then additives, okay? Whether it's value pieces like I'm going to show you, or it is, like I said, oh, wait, no, it's like you can just pick it up, right? Preparing for photos alone, okay? I've been working with Magnus to have a whole plug and play, guys, where if you guys get a listing, and I'll show you some of the pieces here in a minute when we get to that slide, but all you have to do is scan, and she's going to put a whole package together. If it's Every Door Directs, if it's door knockers, social pieces, and it's all branded consistently. It just can be customized to you, okay? So, and I will share my story about how I just converted a listing appointment using those pieces. Okay, any questions? Yeah, no, maybe so. Okay. All right, marketing plan. So, because guys, I just said we don't have listings flying off the shelf. Okay, now, if you price, conditions good, locations good, all that stuff, everything is perfect. Yes, it will go fast. Okay, but if you have any hiccups, We need to be prepared for that. Okay, we can't just assume it's going to go under contract within the first week. We have to have a plan in the event that it doesn't. Okay, so I think we've all been agents long enough, except for you, Mr. Aiden, but that's cool. Growth here, right? Okay. I would like to say that there are, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there are two types of pipelines. And I think that's very important in this conversation, okay? So we have what I call a lead pipeline, and we have what we call a transactional pipeline, okay? So when you start hearing terms like lead, hot, warm, nurture, do not call, that kind of stuff, that's all lead. That's lead pipeline stuff. They haven't been converted. But when you hear signed, you know, active, pending, you know, under contract, pending contract, I mean, they mean something different in the MLS, but really they mean the same thing to the consumer, by the way. So I wouldn't say under contract and then have a separate pending thing, just be consistent with whichever one you choose. You know, closed, whatever it is. Okay, that's all transactional. Okay, so your marketing plan is all transactional. You need to be able to like, okay, MREA. If you guys haven't read it, let me know. We need to find a way for you guys to read it. The MREA, amongst a million other things, is all the different models in order to be $1 million real estate agent, okay? And within that, right, it says that every listing, we should be listing heavy, listing focused, okay? Why? Because A, it's less work. Why? Buyers should be paid money, because if you really want to talk about it, they do more physical work than we do on the list side. But your listing should yield at least 3 pieces of business, you know, and I know the numbers can vary, but Kyle, what is it? 2 listings and a buy or 2 buys and a sell?
What?
2 buys and a sell or 2 listings and a sell per listing? Should it yield? That's what I thought. Okay, so 2 listings and a buy. That is traditionally what should happen. And the brokerage, yeah, Kyle just said, it's all based on you guys doing your activities, right? So why is that the case? Because you,
One house goes up for sale, in 60 days, 5 will go for sale. So market that.
write that down for me. So Kyle just said that for every house that goes up in a neighborhood within 60 days, 5 more should go up.
This is why open door off, had 5 open doors.
This,
Right, check, right.
yeah, this is why OfferPad and all the iBuyers and stuff buy multiple ones, because it jacks the prices up. Because then they're buying at bottom line. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? How did I miss that? And I find patterns. Are you kidding me? Oh,
Yeah, look at it, they're all the first one.
yes, no, you're totally right. But then,
Yeah.
oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, that's because they're manipulating the market. That's brilliant. Okay, that's a whole different topic of conversation. Yeah. So the point in case, right? If we're told in the MREA as well that we need to go and make sure that no leads left behind, that each one of our leads, depending on the stage in which they sit, should be on some type of campaign in which we're constantly touching them per their time frame. No different than your listing transactional timeline, okay? Because the fact is you're literally given at least, let's say you go under contract in a day, okay? You then have 30 to 45 days guaranteed to actively be marketing this thing. And then you have a whole bunch of content to splice together to create a whole bunch of other stuff to continue to market throughout the year. Do you know what I mean? And again, because we can market so many different ways, and a listing allows us to pull a CP list, and a CP list, if you guys are not aware, is a circle prospecting list. We can get it from title so very easily, and we can get our niche market as well if we need it. But the point I'm getting to is that one list of emails, phone numbers, names, addresses, and all the other stuff allows us to do what? Communicate on every single platform. Because if you go back, I just talked about creating custom audiences. Well, what if you did that with your, you know, that list or your farming list, right? It's how we're using our technology, people. I don't think we're using it wisely enough. It's my 2 cents.
Yeah, you see just, okay, if hypothetical, one house goes up for sale and there's supposed to be a follow-on 5 and 60 days, then does it make sense to circle call? everybody,
100%.
Everybody.
Because
around?
when we go into what we're gonna do on the open house, you have to remember that not
Yeah.
only is he right, he's right because of that, but why? Do you remember that whole old saying, keeping up with the Robinsons?
Yeah.
Because see, if Mary, my neighbor does it, then well, why is Mary making all that? Or why did Mary get, I want one? You know what I mean? There's just that natural go back to.
See, that's just that 3 barn farm.
And that should be your conversation. Have you thought? I mean, circle prospecting's probably one of the easiest cold calls because you have this whole list of this neighborhood and you have instantaneous value. Why do you have that list? Unless you're farming, that can be a little bit colder than that because it's more like, hey, have you thought about and whatever. But if you have event, it's easier. But here you're in the neighborhood. If you have that listing, you have value. So, hey, I just listed Mr. Robinson's house. You know, he had bought it back in here. You know, I know you bought it too, like a year before that. Do you do you realize that you have like, equity within your home and blah, 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 blah. Again, I'm not a ring scripter. I'm more a concept one, but like, do you see what I'm saying? What does that conversation now look like when you can apply it back to, oh, wait, the value because you're in that neighborhood?
Okay, well, here's the situation. I have a spec. I've already provided a description to a couple people, and I already have Kelly's list for that geography.
Yeah.
Narrowed down, just the phone numbers with all of that. So, okay. The good thing is this spend 3 hours every day. I'm going through those, I got maybe 500.
So when I get on my time blocking, I am neurotic. So you know Sally, but you both know Crystal. And they both know that when I'm in my GPS, my 401 and time blocking, like if you're not in a time space allotted to do so, don't even. Like I lead gened yesterday and today, 3 hours a day. You guys should be lead genning in the mornings, 100%, a couple hours at least.
Mhm.
Follow-ups, all the things. You're missing business. See, I don't think you guys really are understanding the gravity of the situation that we're currently sitting in. Okay. I didn't think this meeting would be like this, so I do apologize for feeling like I'm on a soapbox today. I clearly feel very passionate about some things. Okay. First of the year is always what we call like mass exodus, right? Like agents don't renew, you know what I mean? It's usually when a lot of the dues are owed, like especially association dues and things like that, right? So we'll see drop-offs, right? But what is happening now? Okay. And I'll be honest, if you're a part-time agent, it's gonna be tough because real estate's already something you kind of have to live and breathe to begin with. But if you're only like dipping your toes in because of what's happening and how that's going to continue to butterfly effect, right? Ding. Well, that ripple creates this, right? Well, I can tell you 5 ripples I'm already seeing. I know Kyle, Christian, and I have talked about a couple as well, right? So agent count will continue to drop significantly. So my question to you guys is, if you know that that's just a natural selection, right? That's not assumption. No different than, interest rates are high and home prices are high. What do we then go into? What kind of market? Well, I'm just saying, right? Like we're a swing in one direction, right? Yeah, same thing with any of those different changes, right? So we know if interest rates start to go down and home prices are up and they've been declining because the buyers don't want to buy, right? It's a buyer's market, not a seller's market, right? Then we know that everybody's going to wait till last, set of interest drops to start really playing ball, right? So those are things. So what's going to happen? The home prices are going to go up once buyers start buying it. That's just what happens. This is just what happens. So do you want to own that market share that all those people that are infiltrating and filling up space for the sake of filling up space? Okay. I don't want to see an agent count loss. That's horrible. But it really is going to be, are you invested and are you in it? Because right now we have to weather a storm and we're not done seeing that storm continue to pelt us. So you guys choose.
Okay, so what's your one thing to survive this? Exactly what we're doing, right?
Like I just did, because agent count's going down, so that means that I gotta sit there 3 hours a day, even on the days I'm not designed to lead gen and make sure I honor my thing.
Mhm.
You are to put your head down and lead gen and do the activities that are gonna bring the business in. If not,
Well, great, because
yeah,
Kelly's gold, she got me some very good lists, everything I asked.
yeah,
There's enough information if you know anything.
in that list,
Yeah, if you know anything about.
Yeah.
Sheets or Excel.
all of it, whatever you need.
You can mine the hell, mine it.
You can mine it, you can filter it, you can do all these things. That could be your CRM. Don't, you have command, but,
Yeah.
and you have a whole bunch of smart plans that are worth using, but yes, 100%.
But feed as a lead pipeline, feed into the CI.
Well, and here's the deal is like, again, what did I say? SOI first,
Yeah.
farming next, and then niche market, right? Well, you guys will hear me talk about it a lot, but it doesn't matter what industry we're in. Doesn't matter. I don't care if you're in like warehousing, Amazon, stocking boxes kind of thing. Do you know the only thing that matters? Your client list.
Yeah.
You have no revenue without a client list. You have no revenue without a person to sell product or services to. Your SOI list, your database is your gold. So how you treat that is good, right? So, but we get complacent after a couple of years too, because you're like, you use all your referral, like inner network SOI stuff, and then we don't do anything with it, but we're not doing anything too. And that happens to feed the database. You have to feed the beast. Okay. It doesn't mean throwing shit leads in there. Okay. Sorry, I said that. Crap leads in there. Okay. What it means is like, if you put your farming leads in, you better have them all up on and being maintained. You should be communicating them in every platform. So it's a viable lead source to have own that real estate in your database. Does that make sense? Okay. Sorry. Okay. Ooh, clearly I feel passionate about some things. Okay. So what I did is, and when you guys see this, you will see I will also have a page of examples, but I have all of my transactional pipeline pieces in Canva created for my social or email drop or a text or a flyer for, okay. So if it's under contract, back on market, just listed, whatever. My Popeyes, I have those as well. So I have digital versions. So I have a timeline, okay. And it says social, the 30 days to 1 day prior to going live. What, does anyone know what that time frame means? With MLS and our listings? Thank you. Coming soon. Okay. So coming soon, right? I can prep for all my stuff, but within 24 hours, I have to have it up on the MLS, right? So I'm going to prep all my social database, KW networking stuff, landing page, and get prepped, make sure I have my list so I can call my neighbors. Okay. I need to put prep there, not just do it. Okay. First week of listing, right? I need to put open house there too. Can you see? I still need to put some things, but we're going to have an open house weekend, right? We're going to ask them to leave their house for the weekend. And we're just going to have a huge freaking event. Okay. And then all the social networking database, everything's going out, right? That it was just listed. And then the second week, oh wait, I'm going to go back to social database, networking and neighbors. It's not under, right? So, then for 2 weeks after that, we're going to go, and I'm giving examples of the content pieces too. Okay. I'm going to have another piece where it's like a bigger example so they can really see, but I'm showing them, this is how I plan to market your home. I plan to take this seriously. I'm so vested in being your agent that I built a whole plan, in which means, I don't know, I have to do my job. Okay. So what did I say? Getting your home in front of buyers means hitting all communication platforms throughout the duration of the listing. Okay. Because I want backup offers too. You know what I mean? I want backup interest, and I need to get 2 listings and a buy from it. So I've then said, hey, no one's going to market your house as well as I'm going to market it. So much so that I can show you on a timeline. And people are visual, even women. Everybody's visual. It's like this weird thing. Like I was building out my value prop and I have like this brochure I'm having Kelly make, right? It's like this square, it's unique. It's like my value prop, right? And been building it since I took over the position, right? Because I don't want to retain, I don't want to hire to anything. I want to hire to something that's retainable, right? I want us all to grow as agents because we get to call this home for us. And so it wasn't until I visually had it in that I somehow felt like I wasn't in my head. Sometimes we just have to see it. Okay. We can shift and pivot, add or take away or whatever. Okay. But how often, who to, and how will you do it? Okay. Again, if we're going to give them a seller update that says, hey, I did my job, you need to have that outlined in the beginning. Okay. Because this is very much your accountability to what your listing requires, just as much as it's an expectation for your seller to understand how you're going to do that. Okay. Questions? All right. So let's dive into open houses. So this one's a little bit brighter than my black one, but you can see same timeline, right? Because I want them to see that this is a big event. Okay, it's almost like this VIP, and I put premium. You could put VIP, you could put whatever words. Wording matters. Okay. So essentially, oh, and Jody just left. Shame on her. So again, just closer look, guys, if you can see. Okay. So I'm going to start social networking. Okay. And I'm going to dive into that a little bit. When we get into the open house section of the listing presentation, anyone online, I would love you guys to clear that day to be here. It is going to be one heck of a day. It is probably one of the funnest classes. Okay. Anyways, open houses. When I hit social, that means hitting groups, creating an event, right? It's this whole thing. I'm taking advantage of all of it. Right. I'm going to do that 1 week before the open house, 4 days before, and 1 day. Why? Because I at least need at least a week and a half to 2 weeks to get everything perfect for this house. And that's like, oh, I got a listing. We want to go live. Okay. You want to go live and rush it, right? And miss an ingredient that's going to make it the thing. I would caution you guys to slow down. Okay. Because once you get days on market, you know, and it keeps going, that's a buyer's invitation to start dinging your seller's price point. Okay. So everything that you do to prep for and make sure that you're bringing every interest you could, no different than 72 Sold. Okay. Their marketing campaign, although the ethics behind some of their scripting and other stuff is in their model doesn't work in this thing because things aren't flying off the shelf. We don't have buyers waiting in lotteries and stuff, but their ploy is great. You have to generate that interest. It's a whole event. You know what I mean? People got lives. You need to just, so then invite the neighbors, right? So specialized box with some value, snacks, an invite that's personal to, you know, 10 to 20 of the closest neighbors, and invite them to a public or private showing with this, you know, and these boxes are really cheap. Okay. Yes, you guys will learn with me. Like, I don't want to spend money. I mean, it's frustrating. Sometimes we wait long periods without checks, right? But there are some pieces, guys, in which we have to apply a little bit of something to get something back. Okay. Sometimes we have to put something into marketing. Let's just be intentional about where we're putting it in. Okay. So business to business. Okay. Oh, my other soapbox. All right. Whether it's service or it's, you know, purchasing something tangible. Okay. Anyone who has signed with us, I'm sure, especially anyone has been up at the Noterra office at one point. Okay, so you know that Noterra is pretty big. It's a big shopping center. It's also being flooded by, we've got the chip plant and that created its own havoc. Everybody's pushing up. We've got houses. Union Park is right across the street. Because we just got a lot of movement happening over here. The 303 has opened up a platform for South Surprise and stuff to just like swing up into North, Phoenix over here. And all of Peoria and stuff, like there's a lot happening, right? We fail to recognize that the people working around the listing that we have are potential buyers and sellers as well. Because either those people are living nearby, okay? They're traveling, which means there's a small number who's going to travel for retail and service-oriented stuff like serving and things like that, even dental assistance and services like that, unless you're making the big bucks, like, again, that number's small, who's really going to be commuting outside of the range that you guys want to stay in, right? So knowing that, you're missing this opportunity to easily walk in and say, hey, we're having an open house. I don't know if you knew anybody or you guys were thinking about, purchasing or selling, in the area, but we just wanted to invite you to a private showing. If you have any questions, my number's on there, right? Because if it's printed QR code, or you just scan this and it goes directly to my thing. Thank you so much for your time. Doesn't even have to be anything big. And I'm telling you this out of experience of door knocking Noterra towards our events and other stuff. I've pulled leads out of it. Okay. Why? Because this is the community in which they're having to work in, and you know what I mean? So they're not that far away, or they're living into and working. Okay. They're also exposed to everyone around there. Okay. So if they're willing to, give little pop-bys, with the listing on the front, just cute little things, and your information on the back, just, hey, in case anyone's interested, just put them right there. It doesn't hurt to ask, because if they say no, what do you walk out with? The same you walked in with. Okay. We all need to get over rejection. I know it sucks. Trust me. I'm been dealing with it for the last 2 weeks. It sucks, but it is what it is. And we're not going to survive in this market if we're not putting our head down, Bryce. And we're not just accepting the rejection so that we can help the people that are open to us helping. Okay. But again, communication, right? Strict community. Then I'm going to talk about circle prospecting, right? Listings live. Great way to circle prospect. Open house, circle prospect. Hey, under contract, and we're like 10 grand above anything else that closed, above asking. Circle prospect. It closed. Hey, it closed for this. This is definitive numbers. Have you thought about? And all those conversations should be followed up with, do you know anyone that is looking to buy or sell? Because again, we don't ask, we won't have. If they say no, we walk in with this, we walk out with the same amount we walked in with. During the open house, we will talk about more in depth about these things, but signs on all exits, and and I have to tweak it, because I also found out that there's a placement going into the neighborhood in which it should be set from the turn into the neighborhood. And we'll talk about that as well. But you need to ensure that you guys have enough signs. I have never done an open house in which I have had less than 10 to 15 signs. Nowhere. Okay. Sometimes up to 25. Your directional means everything, every way into the thing. They need to know that. They need to know that I'm making sure that if someone comes into this neighborhood, I'm saying, hey, here, right here, over here, right there. Come see me. Hi. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be that loud and obnoxious. Put feathers on it. Kevin puts flags. Put balloons. Go to the dollar store and get a whole bunch, bag them, attach them. It flies. It's no different than these guys. Okay. I'm not kidding you. It matters. Catches the eye, right? Timing matters. Is there churches in the area in which get out? Sunday's a great day. Hit that. You know what I mean? Is there, school gets out at a certain time, and maybe my one during the week needs to be triggered around when school gets out. Okay? Or are there a lot of local businesses in an industrial, right? If we're dealing with some more industrial warehousey things, you can guarantee that they're probably getting off between 1 and 3-ish, because they typically will start earlier because of our heat. Okay? You have to know who's your audience that you're trying to, who's in the area, who am I speaking to?
Going, Brian.
When do they get out?
This McDowell Road is clogged from one, like you said, 1 to 3. The
1 to
rest-
3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the rest of the time it looks like
Yeah.
a racetrack. It looks just like a drag strip.
Yeah, whenever you have mass building construction and tradesmen's like that, you know, they tend to start a lot earlier because of our heat. It's just, and even 1 to 3 is still too hot during some of our months. Okay, but again, just understanding that, and which means you guys need to know what's in your area. If I take a listing, do I know what's around? Okay. So because the people coming through your open houses and stuff too are going to be what? Around that area. You have to feel and look like the expert, which means you have to be and you have to do the research. Okay. All right. Then feedback cards. I have a specific release, catch and release piece to that, because I have about a 95% response rate to getting my feedback cards filled. But for heaven's frickin' sakes, people, why are we going to do activities that we're not capturing lead information? Okay. Someone says no, we don't have to be pushy about it, but there is a ton of ways to be able to do that. So I want to call attention to that. The other thing that we're going to talk about is a tale of a table and 4 chairs. So I'm telling you, you guys really do want to be at the open house at 1. It is super fun. So, and then I put on here, designed to bring everyone we can into your home. Generating interest means generating the ideal buyer. Can I capitalize on that? Right. So I'm going to call attention to an open house being important. There's a lot of sellers out there who will go, well, it's only meant for your lead genning. Well, yeah, a lot of the times the buyer is not going to come from your open house, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't. And it also means that that is your pipeline and your ability to, so you should be advocating for your ability to solicit their house, because again, your job is to do what? Since the dawn of time, it is to prospect for a buyer. Didn't say represent one, to prospect for a buyer. Okay. Any questions online or in room? Okay. So photography or the other sheets, you know, just kind of those value props, like I brought in Matterport and Travis Eaton, right? I want to call to attention that he's going to do a couple things that are super important, like the drone footage versus a, you know, picture video, you know what I mean? The Matterport, that's going to allow me to digitally hit and solicit my out-of-state buyers, right? There's my content for it. Because if you don't know what a Matterport is, and if you guys need one, let me know. I do. It's available for something small, but usually it's like a $500 service. But if you want to solicit out-of-state buyers, right? But it is a 3D interactive tour that allows them to walk through the house as if they were walking through it. They can measure walls, look at floor plans, you know, like the actual blueprint type of feel to it. You know, I mean, there's all these things that they can do, so they can essentially be in the home and they're not even in the home. Okay. It is a invaluable tool. I get to offer it, so therefore I can put it. So I want to call it to attention that this sets me apart from the rest of the agents, right? Highlight vendor. It's a great way. I don't think that our specialty vendors get the limelight that they should have. You know, sometimes we have like our plumbers and our things, like vendor lists are great things to put in here. I wouldn't give everything away, but again, I'm taking another spin on it and highlighting a specific vendor, right? I could come in and say, with the value prop, we have like My Home, right? Or Home. Yeah, My Home. And they're that repair subscription service, right? It's a great way, again, to pull in some of the vendors that you can help support Not giving a whole your vendor thing away because you want to like leave some to be able to trickle out. But again, I'm providing value and showing and backing up what I'm saying. Give examples, visual people, and then go back to capturing, okay? How we're going to use this to capture interest. Again, every piece like this, whether it's photography or it's some other kind of value piece in which you're offering like this, that's very specific, go back to how it's going to sell the listing. Okay, which I do in a couple different places. You'll see that in when I send you my presentation. Any questions? I might go through a little bit to honor time because we only have 45 minutes. And I have to get my charger, so hold on a second. I'll let you know about for a minute. Because I don't want to die in the middle of our presentation. That would be horrible. Okay. So onward we go. So additives, like I said, whether it's like preparing for photos, decluttering house, anything that might be appropriate, right? Some other great additives. And I know we got a couple new people on the Zoom. So I have some examples of some things. First off, we have a relationship with APS, right? So if you guys want a brick, come get 10 light bulbs, and you guys can. Okay. 10 of these, there's applications and things like that too with it. Why? Why would I say that? Why is that important? Because, oh, darn it, where's my APS thing? You see the flyer there. It's on the bottom, but it says up to 60% off your electricity bill every month. You'll see there's a Google Nest and a light bulb. Why? Because APS has a piece right now in their energy efficient department where, you know, how many LED light bulbs would save energy, right? If we just got one into each home, and an application to have like an energy efficient evaluation done on their home for free. They could do it in person, $99, but for free. And they can earn a Google Nest. Who doesn't like a free electronic, right? Again, if we go back to my CTA, what was it? Helping consumers save and offering value and service before profit, right? So with this, I don't get anything from it. We get nothing from APS. We have no kickback. There's no anything. The only special thing they do for us is they will put up their tent at any of our events that we do for our quarterlies or anything like that. Okay, we're an approved vendor for them. Used to be a client, turned it around to be, you know, this sponsorship, right? So see that box I talked about that you would not drop off to the neighbors, right? An application to save money on a bill that we don't get a chance to negotiate, but we have to pay because we can't live without AC here in AZ, right? No one wants their pool to go bad or their food to go bad, right? Like we're not in a weather that can be conducive. I'm giving you something fun, right? Is a light bulb fun? No, but it's bright, it's free, and it's useful, okay? Then you get the application, it's already there, it's still, you know, make it one that thermostat, okay? Super fun. Guess what? My open house, not only am I going to door knock with these guys, but I'm going to have 10 sitting out on my table at any given time during the duration of the listing and the open house with the applications, because this is a great starter. See, I had them in the front office and was able to give away 3 leads, having a conversation based off of them in our lobby. I took them out, conversation stopped. I just put them back. Okay, great way, insta value. We love stuff to give away. People love to get free stuff. It makes sense. They save money on their bills, right? No kickback. I'm not going to get in trouble for anything. I'm just, hey, this is an option. You don't have to, but it's there if you want it. Okay. So, right, that's a good additive. We have one home, their subscription a month is $49, and they'll do a seasonal thing and change light bulbs and air filters and do those things per the subscription for free. And then they do other stuff, right? It's 49, it's like 500 for the year, but it's 49 for the month, okay? And the service charge is like they pay per how long they're there. If they're there for 15 minutes, that's what you pay for, okay? They're not going to upcharge you an hour. Why is that important? Because not only have they offered us a discount to have that for 250 versus 500 for our clients, okay, you know how many times I've had a client go, well, I can't do this, or I need a remodel, or what. That's all kind of included within the growing of their package, right? They manage it. They can put it on a seller's house for $49 too, okay? And then that house is covered. If I told you guys in 14 years how many times I've changed a filter and a light bulb, in heels, up a 6-foot ladder, sometimes 12, depending on the size of the house, okay? Looking at my husband going, okay, so date night's gonna be changing up 58 light bulbs in this like $2 million house. Sorry, they finally approved it. Okay, cool. That service is there and they can do it. That also takes some of the load off of me to ensure that the house is the way it needs to be, right? Because lighting. When we do the making sure your home is show ready, lighting's a huge thing. But anyways, right? That's great. I can offer that for them. Do I mind forking out $49 for that? To get thousands and thousands of dollars and my seller is like secure? Also, no, I'm not going to have to do some of those rapid things that I don't want to do. Okay. So that's there. Home warranties, almost every home warranty, which is the opposite of that repair thing, right? That maintenance package, okay, with one home is like everything that the home warranty doesn't do. Okay, the home warranty is going to warrant some of your bigger items and you can have some, add some things to it. But the cool thing is I've yet to meet one, and there probably are ones out there. Almost all home warranty places will put seller's coverage on your home during the duration of the listing for free. There's still a service charge, but they're not paying anything, okay, if something happens, right? Why do they do that? Because they're hoping that the home warranty is going to transfer with the buyer, okay? Also gives them some solicitation. What does that do for your seller? It lets them know, hey, I'm good. Something major happens, I can make sure that I'm not forking out all the money to have it taken care of, okay? That's why I put these 3 pieces, because again, what was my value prop, in my CTA, providing value coming from a place of service, offering things that save money and make things easier, right? So that's going to apply to that with that particular thing, okay? Those individual inserts, all right? So highlight vendor, give examples, and go back to how this is going to help them, with their listing. Questions? Cool. We're going to run through the rate, guys, because we're running out of time. I got a half an hour. Okay. This one, some of us are going to be a little bit more versed in. Kyle, feel free to pipe in if I missed anything. Oh, so I will have a seller. Let's research, right? Because we cannot, and don't take a listing without seeing it. Do not take a listing without knowing what's around. Do your research, right? Be the expert. If you want to duplicate it, the business is coming from there, be the expert. Okay. So if you can see, now I have 8 pieces up there. Okay. There's a lot of things that you can put in when it comes to research that is solely up to you. Okay. Bryce, if you're doing listing presentations within Sun City and stuff, some of your research-based things would go back to your program that you're doing, being a senior, a senior what specialist?
Yeah, senior resource specialist.
Yeah.
Senior real estate specialist.
That's what it is, yeah.
SRES.
Yeah. So being that, right, like that would be a great place to have like some research around the demographics around why that particular
It's
thing
really
is so-
simple line. There's a few places like Sunland Village that are very, very nice places, and they're just starting that turn.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that said, I like to give a couple different kind of comps. And if I'm not physically giving them, then I know the numbers. Okay. So that would be local comps and then property comps. We'll talk about those in a minute. And then demographics or additional resources that think they know what's going on with your property. And why is that? Because I like to call attention to the fact that this is why they hire a real estate agent, because I'm going to disprove this information to some degree. Okay. And then market stats. I pulled some MLS ones. NAR has some wicked ones. I was just in there. If you just go to NAR, you'll see that there's statistics and resources. I didn't even give you guys QR codes this time. But literally it's going to have everything. It's so cool. Like it's going to give you all your updated stuff. There's content pieces you guys can download and throw into your stats. Okay. Kelly gives us monthly stats. If we request them for our social and stuff, she can do the same with a flyer. Okay. You know, just have like 4 or 5 that you can slide in for that month, you know, for the month previous or that the remainder of the month, right? I'm saying 4 or 5. We don't need to go crazy, but she just give you the printout. You can print it out. Right. And so because why? Stats matter, especially now, because we're gonna continue to do things and we need to make sure that we can speak to that. Because if you sit in front of someone who's hyper analytical and they ask you about where the market is and for you to show them and you show up looking like a doof, just walk straight out, my dears. They'll humor you sometimes, but like, and if not, for the consumer that's not super educated on where the market is, it's your job to educate them. Going back to visuals, people just understand visually seeing things in conjunction with, or sometimes just period.
In fact, Kelly's market research sheet has a dial. Actually a visual showing
Yeah.
buyer, seller neutral
Yeah.
for anyone.
Oh, her temperature one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's got a temperature.
Cromford report is also, if you like, you can subscribe to the Cromford, like in their back end and get all their like research and stuff like that. Those are great pieces because that is like a hyper focused economist, like looking at and analyzing our market. Okay. Those Cromford reports, because Magnus, are free to you guys every month. I encourage you guys to jump onto them as it's invaluable information. Okay. All right. So local comps, okay? The next one is property specific comps, okay? Y'all should be very familiar, which is why I didn't do that one first. Local comps is where, like, if I were to look at like this demographic, or like not demographic, but what are the defining pieces of this home that I can't change? And how do they compare to the market outside of this neighborhood or this local region, right? Within Armless and within the city boundaries, okay? So don't go throwing Maricopa in there or, you know, Coolidge and some of those areas. Like keep it to our actual metropolis, okay? But really, when we look at it, what are your average days on market, okay? Why is that so important to a listing?
So it shows them how well it's gonna do on the sale.
Or timeline? Okay, so like, if I've set the expectation and shown the research that says my average days on market are 45 days, which tend to be that's a pretty safe one in some areas. Sometimes we see 30, we've seen under that. We've also seen some exaggerated numbers like hundreds, but just as let's just use 45, okay? So if I know that the average days on market are 45, and we're priced and everything's kind of good, right? Then when do I want to allow my seller to start freaking out?
I don't know.
Wait, that's good.
Yeah, day 46 or day of.
Yeah.
Okay, because see, can't do anything. We can't make the timeline go faster. Okay, that's what that whole thing is. So in this, like, level, pool, like interior levels, pool, square footage, bath, bed, right? Where does the rest of everybody compare to? Like like Kyle had said, like at one of my other trainings, which is why some of this extra stuff is in here too, is like really honestly, what square footage is selling the best? What bed bathroom combo is selling the best? Man, I remember when 3.2s were the thing, but man, a 4.2 will get you more. And that used to be less, right? Because we didn't have families that big. Am I correct in that? So like, you know what I mean? Like, how does that compare? What do you against when it comes to the remainder of the market? Because we're a grid city here, people. It's not like it takes you forever to get to a place. I have a thing And don't come to me with a listing specific and say, I'm not willing to travel an hour and a half. Shame on you. Buyers, I can understand keeping a little bit more local, but the rest of them, like you do next to no footwork physically with that, like we're a grid city, it's easy to get around. Okay. So we just saw when I pulled up Phoenix, where was everybody transferring from? Scottsdale.
That's it.
Okay. So again, we have to understand where price point differences are and all those stats are with the whole market just as much as we would with the neighborhood. Am I missing something? Okay. So yeah, know what square footage, bath and things like that are selling the fastest, average days on market, knowing which areas are moving and which ones are taking longer. Okay. Because I'm going to tell you, like, two things happened. I couldn't have taken two harder listings right before the interest rates went up in 2021, May? Am I right, Kyle? May 21, interest rates started to go up.
22, yeah.
22, okay, 22.
That's-
Sorry, sometimes it blends together. So I just, yeah.
Oh, 23 sucked.
Yes, you're right, 22 then. So not only did I decide to take a leased solar house in West Surprise, like 170th and Jomax kind of West Surprise. But then I also had a $2.5 million listing up in Boulder Heights. And that is the furthest North Scottsdale you can get before hitting Cave Creek. So it's essentially almost in the boonies. Okay. These were my two listings at the time. Well, guess what? When market turns like that and it's not in favor of the sellers like that, your rural areas and so on and so forth, it trickles in, as well as your higher price points are usually the first to take the hits. So in the first time ever in my career, I walked away from a $2.5 million listing because seller was absolutely unreasonable, told him we might be seeing a trend and we would have to adjust price accordingly. He didn't want to. We just didn't need to be in business. First time ever. And I think at that point it was like 12 years of my career. And then I had a listing who was also one of my best friends who didn't use me as agent the first time to purchase the house, by the way. So I was stoked. Okay. I had it for like 89 days. Now, mind you, a month before we couldn't even get past like a week and a half, 2 weeks. But I'm at 89 days and it's lease solar. And even though she had value there because she always had credits, it's not looked at that way. So I had two impossible listings, right? So if I know that days on market are higher in Surprise, right, that could adjust. What if my client was in North Phoenix, for instance, because we move pretty good here. We're a good area. We're not Central or South Phoenix, right? We're pretty nice up here, like when it comes to movement and crime rates, right? So if I know that I'm going to sell a house in Phoenix for this client, because I'm on a listing appointment, right? But they want to purchase in Surprise because whatever, they want to be closer to family, okay? And I know that that I want to put an offer in on this house, but that person has to find another house somewhere else, right? And I'm going to be fighting days on market here, but this one's going to go really fast. What do I need to do? I need to set the expectation that they need to find somewhere else to go, or we need to stall close of escrow through delayed close of escrow or post possession, which I don't encourage, but we did see that happen a lot during, the COVID crazy. So it's again, just understanding how the different markets play in effect. It will transfer when it comes to the plan that you build out for them. Okay. Any questions about local market or local comps? Okay. Same thing applies to, I just didn't need to rename it, but this should say property comps. Same thing applies, guys. You guys need to be that versed within your neighborhood. Okay. When they look at you and they say, but Mary's house sold for this. Why? Why did it and we can't? You should know that. You know what I mean? What are I'm going to say 5. I used to say it was 4 pain points of a listing and why it doesn't sell. One of them's location. You cannot change that. Okay. It sucks, but you can't. But that does matter depending on where the market's sitting and what that location is. And sometimes that's like, it's against a freeway and there's no backyard, so it won't sell and price goes down because you're against noise and there's no visual blockage, right? So it could mean anything. Condition, okay, we're not in a market where we just list it and sell it, okay? It has to be decluttered. The buyer has to be able to see themselves in it. They have to be able to visualize it, okay? We have to do repairs. We have to bring it up to snuff, especially depending on the price point, right? Marketing, can't not do nothing, okay? So marketing is a big one in price. We can overprice it. That will affect. I also want to throw in a very unrealistic seller. Okay. But that goes back down to either you didn't set your expectation or you decided that this was a good idea and it probably wasn't. Let me be honest. Because yes, sellers are expectation. Maybe that's just not the right person for you. It's okay to say no to business. I'm telling you it is. It will. You can't buy back the years on your life a stressful client that you do not mesh with will put on you. Okay. And I hope y'all learn that faster than later. Okay. Demo stats, like demographics, stats, anything else. I love Zillow. Wait, I don't think you ever heard someone say that, right? Okay. I love to use them against themselves. Just like I always have iBuyers and things like that. Like those are disruptors. They're trying to devalue all the hard work that we put on. Absolutely, I will use them against each other. Okay. This house that I need to have this presentation for just happens to be my neighbor's house. I've lived in this house for 7 years. My husband actually grew up in this neighborhood. The neighbors welcomed us 7 years ago. I had no idea who they were because it still has original owners in there. Why is that important? Because I know my neighborhood, right? I also know that the zip code is really hard. When things go up, they go out. It's really hard to get comps too because there's just not a lot goes up. Because those original owners are probably another 10 years away from transitioning out and it's still very original owner heavy. Okay. So I know that the value is probably sitting at 440 to 450 on a realistic. Okay. Zillow has her come in at, let me see if I printed it out. Because I'm blind, I can't see that far into it. Must have not. Oh, I did. Okay, so Zillow has her at 417. Okay, because why? We like to have sellers, but Zillow said, yeah, Zillow's wrong. Okay, because Zillow is syndicating from MLS like every other site. Their data is not accurate. Okay, it doesn't update as much as ours, and so then it's missing syncs and stuff. That's like people like renters bring you Zillow stuff, and you're like, great. You know, I'm gonna go look all these MLS numbers up and they're all gonna be gone. Okay. If it's over, go look, the stats don't support this. This is why we don't rely on Zillow. You know, it's meant to entice. Hey, this is why Zillow's not right. You know, it's like 30 grand off. Okay. We have access to RPR, which is more actual demographics of age, employment, some of those things. Why would that matter? People, why would understanding the like actual demographics, like when we think of demographics, race, you know, age, children, household income, those things that we can actually pull demographically that are not protected, right? What would be the point of doing that?
You know who you're trying to sell to.
Thank you. We know our audience. Okay. If I'm working in a middle class neighborhood that's very heavy on families, maybe my verbiage needs to be based around a familial, communal atmosphere and things for kids to do. Walking distance within this for a child to do without even saying child. Do you know what I mean? It all comes up too, right? One of the listings that I'm taking is off 35th in Deer Valley. Okay, which is right next to, it's just north of it. So it's right next to Desert Ridge, right? We've got a lot of families and stuff in there, but this particular area, there's almost no children in there. Okay. It's kind of that middle, like kids are kind of transitioning out of school kind of a thing. And they're like newly empty nesters. That's a lot of the neighborhood. It's very nice. It's like 900, sometimes 1 million, depending on the price point in there. Okay. What am I not going to do when I solicit for people and when I have those conversations in that neighborhood? We're not going to talk about kids. We're going to talk about the beauty and the ability to quickly go across the street and go to Desert Ridge and go the back way in because it's easy and you avoid all the traffic going onto the 101. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna have conversations like that about being an adult, an active adult.
Mhm.
Okay. That's why understanding your demographics is important. Okay. There's also lenders out there that we can plug and play with too, which are really cool because they can give us these really cool visual stats and stuff like that. There's quite a bit of them. I would talk to your preferred lender and see if they have any marketing plans because I love, those are my favorite and I didn't have any, so but I'll put them on like in little stands like this on my listing counter next to the different places, right? Like it's just, again, we're coming from being the neighborhood expert. Doesn't matter, this is our first listing here. We're the neighborhood expert. We've already determined that. Because if you've done all this stuff thus far, you should know that neighborhood pretty inside now. Okay. You should know what local businesses around you, schools, when people are getting in and out. That's why you need 2 weeks, people. We just don't take a listing. Not the way that works. Okay, and additional stats, again, just going back to the visuals, right? So where the market is, what to expect, and shows you as the expert, okay? What to expect. Yes, we do not have a crystal ball, do not claim you know. I always like to go historically, things have kind of fallen this way. This is happening, you know what I mean? We might trend towards that area. Be careful about your wording, right? But you do have to understand where it's trending. Okay. MLS gives you a variety of stats. I just told you about the NAR thing. Go on to NAR. Literally, it's a center button when you go onto NAR. It literally says resources and statistics. Okay. And it has everything from everything. And like I said, downloadable pieces and stuff like that that you can put in there. Okay. So again, make sure that they're relevant too. If you're going on a listing appointment, chances are you've had a conversation with this person. Okay. So you have to have some idea. Don't just get to, I mean, yes, sometimes we're given the referrals and hey, you're going to just show up, right? But that referral is going to come with kind of letting you know about the person. So if you know about the person, you need to tailor kind of some of those components about that. Okay. So in the end, I'm not a big proponent having 30, 40 pieces in your listing presentation, people. I think it's a waste of paper and time. Okay. These are my recommendations and I will adjust a couple things before I send everything out to you guys. But 4 pieces for value, bio, you know, where you stand, why you're doing what you're doing. You know, something that you're passionate about, you know what I mean? That sets you like crazy apart. That's your, you know, how you're going to speak to you versus them. I think that's important. And then your marketing, you need a plan, open houses, photos, needs to say / examples, but marketing examples, so on and so forth. Okay. Now I want to show you guys something real quick before I set you guys off. So if you haven't used Magnus, all the teams I've ran, everything I've done the last 5 years has been with Magnus. Okay. Always been great about providing us with print and all the things. Okay. So I only have a couple of the pieces. Where's the door knocker? I just had her send me. Okay, so subliminal messaging, consistency in our branding. Okay, you saw I had white pieces in my listing presentation. That was to offset the black and be consistent with the fact that I'm going to have print that's white. It's easier to print, by the way. I can guarantee that the color is not going to be crazy off. Now, Magnus does an amazing job, just for the record. There's other title companies that will also print your stuff out too. Why? It needs to be co-branded. Okay, we don't want to break any RESPA rules around it, or you want to pay for it, so it's not co-branded. Okay. Now, with the open house, I don't have. Sometimes open houses, unless you have enough time and your photos are back, it's hard to send in every door direct on. You can be off on the timing real quick, okay? So I don't have one of those, but if you see how my feedback form is very consistent with all of my marketing. Do you know what I mean? All of it's consistent, right? I don't have my Popeye, but I'll send you guys an example of it. But the Popeye for like the invite, very consistent, okay? So if I go to, why am I showing this? I'm gonna tell you. So just listed, right? There's flyer. You can hand those out. We can do a Popeye that's smaller than that, QR code and info on the back. Oh, is that a door knocker or a door hanger? Oh, it's consistent. Oh, is that an every door direct? It's consistent, right? So same thing with the just sold and the under contract and stuff like that. So why am I telling you this? Because we're working on creating like these little boxes of like, if you go to a listing presentation, you're gonna have examples of everything, right? To go, this is how we market. This is, you know, what we're doing. You know, this is part of why you list with me. The same thing for an open house package, everything that you would need, your door knockers, you know, your Popeyes, whatever it is, it's all in there, okay? You're literally, and I'm working on this right now, but you're just gonna scan, put your details in, send it off, and Kelly will make sure it's printed and sent to the office, okay? And if you can recognize how expensive print specifically is, especially for the quality, even if you're across the, you know, you'll make the trip over here, okay? Now, why is that important? Because I went on a listing presentation, you know, did all my comps, didn't have all my listing stuff. I only have like 3 of those pages, guys. But I've been working on this too, because you guys should just be able to grab some, put them in your listing presentation and leave them with the client. Why? Because when I told them about my marketing and stuff, we're gonna kind of going through it. I was like, here's some examples. You know, I said, this is the branding, you know what I mean? You can see it's consistent. You know, here, hold the card. Feel it, right? He's holding it. It's so much different when it's tangible, okay? So now he knows how his house is going to be marketed throughout these pieces. I left the pieces with him. That's what they're there. They're in bulk over here. They can be specifically branded to you for when you're actually in your transactional timeline. But before that, when you're in your lead pipeline timeline, which is now, because we haven't converted, that's why we're having a listing presentation stuff, right? They're here for you to just grab and to give them so that they can see and just go, no, you know, I'll have all my information on it. But obviously we don't have time and dates or your photos yet. So, you know, here's one of my examples. Okay. And just give them, there's ones for the whole transactional pipeline up here. Okay. Same thing. We're going to have a whole thing for farming. So really it's a plug and play. Okay. So when you go to your listing presentation, you've got examples to leave them with like that, to where they can tangibly feel, well, I walked out with them going, oh, we're so excited. Yes, I am too. Hearts. Okay. So we are working on a lot of those pieces for you guys as well. All right. Any questions before we wrap up? I can't believe I managed to get that done before 4. Okay. Questions, thoughts, comments?
Any of this in Spanish?
Any of this in Spanish, man? Oh, you know, it took 5 years, and if I'm around it a lot, I can understand it, but I still can't speak it. It's yeah. So, cool. Well, can I embarrass you, Adrian? I can absolutely embarrass you. Okay. So I was going to send it out tonight or tomorrow morning, but I pulled the stuff for the gifts. And I was actually really excited because you got number 1. You can come up here. But I was excited because you literally show up X amount of times during the day, you know, week after work, and you do all your stuff for the meetings and all the things you did. Love it. So you got the big one. There's a fanny pack in there. Come on, dude.
What? Is fanny pack in here?
We'll be fanny buddies.
Oh, wow.
Because I was so excited about the box for the fanny thing.
A lot of money.
Yeah. So everybody online, you guys will get tickets and stuff like that too. We'll be running another raffle. I am doing that for every time that you guys participate in the team meetings and show up to trainings and stuff like that too, okay? So I'm doing the things on Zoom and everything. So, Lisa, I text you, hon, so you have my personal cell phone number. Nicole, you already have mine, my dear. I will send my PowerPoint or my, I'll send the PowerPoint presentation out too. But I'll send you guys my listing presentation. Again, a lot of edits have to be done. I was literally finishing it moments before to just make sure I had all my main components. If you guys have ideas or anything like that, please share it with me. I want to grow with you guys too. I don't know anywhere near enough. Okay. Other than that, let me know if you guys have questions. Deal? Okay, awesome. I didn't realize how much I